Hump Day edition. Welcome to the show. It's Outlaw Radio. It's your man, 50 Grand Kevin Barnes, the Negro Whisperer, aka the Hip Hop Snob. I'm very happy to bring you another edition of Outlaw Radio. Blacklash. I didn't make a mistake in the spelling if you saw the posting. It's Blacklash. So it's Wednesday night, man, halfway through the week. Trying to hold it down, man. This is what we do. We're on Mondays and Wednesdays from 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until about 9:30. Sometimes we go until 10 o'clock. It depends on the flow of the conversation. Coming up on Tuesdays, we'll be doing the Big Black Sports Show. Just a sports from a black perspective and not like overusing hip hop cliches or trying too hard, but really discussing sports from the lens of a foundational black American, which is what I pride myself to be. So enough about me. Shout out to you if you're tuning in to the show. We get a lot of love from the mill, from the 414. So I definitely appreciate that. I see you, my brother Dion James, already in the chat room. Early. Y'all should do that. There's also a number 262-202-5131 if you want to call in and you want to add to the conversation, or you just got something you want to represent and try and promote. We can do business. You can actually come on. We support black businesses, especially small black businesses, right? We have to support each other. There's an economic nature to whatever revolution or renaissance that you believe is due to people of color, black people, foundational black Americans. It's the economic portion to it, which indicates that there has to be money involved. You got to get it, got to have it, right? But all money ain't good money, and so on and so on and so forth. You're right, Dion James. It is a lot to talk about tonight. And I'm kind of waiting on some of my co-hosts to chime in. But like I said, support the show, man. We're on YouTube. I don't really do the Instagram. I'm an old cat, right? I'm old school, so I don't do the Instagram well. I got Twitter. We're on Twitter live right now. We're on YouTube. Just support one of the platforms. The shows are archived on my personal page and in the People's News Network. That's a group you should join. It's my own personal kind of digital news atmosphere environment, right? So the People's News Network, join that. Brother Rail, I said Brother Rail, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. How you doing, man?
Man, chilling.
That's good.
Kicking it off. It's Outlaw Radio, it's Blacklash. And I wanted to talk to people about what Blacklash is. And my brother Dion James, I don't know, I guess great minds think alike because he kind of vibe with me when he says Kanye West is a fool, right? And I absolutely agree with that statement. I think Kanye West is a victim of his own narcissism to a certain degree, but I also believe he's a very talented individual that's very, very creative, right? And I always say it's something about cats who play instruments. I've never met a cat who could play an instrument who was normal. Just being around music and cats who's creative and being in the studio, the producer, the musician's always weird. He always has some weird shit going on. And I guess, you know, it comes with that gift of, playing music. He is a fool. Now, it's not just because of the White Lives Matter t-shirt, right? And understand this, just because you're a fool doesn't mean you're doomed to hell, right? Like, fool's paradise, right? Because it's always a chance for redemption. I think Kanye West has something mental in terms of his mental health going on as well. But Blacklash, and so what is this? This is different from Backlash. What's going on, Kamar? What's popping with you?
Hey man, y'all got it.
Peace, man.
Yeah, we just getting into it, man. It's Blacklash. And Dion, shout out to Dion James in the chat room. He brought up Kanye, and excellent starting point for the conversation because when you do certain things in this country, as a person, as a foundational Black American, a person of color, it represents a certain group of people, and a lot of people don't understand that we all have different opinions, right? But this person, if they have any kind of momentum or any kind of celebrity or money or fame, they become representatives of us. We know the truth, but no matter what you say, it's like, okay, he did this, he did that. He was black, he was white. In America, everything is race related. So when you do something that's productive for our people, you receive what I call blacklash, which means amongst us, the real foundational Black Americans, we frown upon your coonish activities, right? When you hear Black people throw words like coon, Sambo, Uncle Tom, we throw these words around. This is part of blacklash, okay? When you get labeled, because one of the things you don't want to ever be labeled as in the Black community is an Uncle Tom. It is the ultimate insult, right? And
And you know what's tricky about that?
I know exactly where you're going.
Like with Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying? Like Ice Cube, like in his mind, from his perspective, he was doing something, you know what I mean, that's productive for us. But then there's a lot of black people that felt like he wasn't, like he was being, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a matter of perspective too.
So he got
Yeah.
blacklash for what he
You
did.
know what I mean? Whereas some people will feel like he should get blacklashed, and some felt like he shouldn't.
But I also want to make this distinction though for anybody out there who has, any kind of celebrity or whatever you're trying to do in terms of being a public figure or a spokesperson. You have to understand that the reality of there's a difference between backlash and blacklash, because backlash is what everybody says, right? Peter come out and say, oh, he got on a fur. That's backlash because you showed up with a fur coat. I'm talking about blacklash. You showed up with a watermelon with a fur coat and some gold teeth in your mouth. Then you get blacklash. Like, did you see this motherfucker? It's what we're talking about. Who are we critical of as people of color? We don't get led astray into, what did the media say? Oh, like most of the people who we look up to, we are totally over their transgressions. We get to the nitty gritty, right? Certain shit, you get caught cheating on your wife, that's backlash. You get caught cheating on your wife with a white girl, that's blacklash. Now you got the sisters and the people saying that this nigga white folks nigga, right? So yes, I want to talk about that because we are critical. We are, and I think this is a mark of our progression too, as a people, that we are now able to get some of that control over that narrative back, at least within our communities, at least where we stay, right? The greatest thing about hip hop is that it crept up on America and they had dismissed it. It was our language, it was our shit. And amongst hip hop fans, we know certain rappers got blacklashed, right? Like, and then their careers was over, right? When somebody got dissed or something. Vanilla Ice got blacklashed because black people said that's
Well, he was
bullshit.
supposed to. He wasn't
Right?
never hip hop no way.
Deservedly so. Well, I don't know if he was, but it was deserved. I think it
No,
was.
he wasn't. Because I mean, look what happened. What happened to him afterwards? After Ice Ice Baby,
Yeah, a couple movies,
he went hard rock. He went rock or some shit.
Yeah,
You know
he
what I'm
did
saying?
go
So
rock.
he wasn't never hip hop no way. So he was supposed to get blacklash and backlash
right. But I
and
don't
a
know.
back slap. Well,
Mainstream media, the mainstream media liked him. They were for him. It was us who
yeah,
was saying, no, that's not legitimate. We're
right.
not doing that. We've moved on from that. Right. Our opinions in our community form kind of like how we move. Right. And that's what I'm saying. And our word usually becomes law or whatever trend, whatever we start doing in the hood, our opinions, it's going to usually become what the news of the day is. So I think Kanye West is a genius on one hand, but I also think he's an idiot, and I think he deserves blacklash for just for the presentation of White Lives Matter. I think we'll talk about that, but we got a caller. Let's see. Ewok was
Okay.
good with you.
Man, over here being great. You know how I do.
Right.
Hey, I wanted to respond to what Kamar said kind of about Cube. Me, myself, I'm speaking for myself. I think his timing was shittier than a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You got to start in the beginning. You don't wait till the last minute, damn near, right before people finna start voting. So, you know what I'm saying? Putting crucial thoughts in people's minds like that. Start from the beginning. And also, you know what I'm saying? He had a brand new start with a brand new president. Start telling these motherfuckers what you want right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, what happened? How come he stopped talking about it after the election? It kind of leads me to believe that shit. He wanted Trump to fucking win because he ain't talking about the shit no more.
No,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't
Start
believe
from
that.
the beginning. Start from the beginning, though. My point still remains. Start from the beginning. then you know what I'm saying. You already got it on people's mind. Don't wait till the last minute to try to just try to throw a monkey wrench in some shit. Let this orange motherfucker get motherfucking 4 more years, then become king and shit and all of that. So I don't like no damn Joe Biden myself. Fuck him too. But hell, I damn sure didn't want no motherfucker Trump to win. What Cube did could have made a big ass difference and changed a whole lot of shit around.
Well, Biden wouldn't. He tried to talk to Biden, and Biden wouldn't fuck with him.
Right.
I'm sitting here.
Biden wouldn't fuck with him. Biden said, "We're gonna get back to you after the election."
Right.
And they never did.
And never
did. Followed up with.
They don't need us now.
Okay, that may be true. You know what? Now talk shit now though. Why you ain't talking shit though? I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Probably because like I said, a bunch of niggas gave him a bunch of Blacklash
you got
shit.
4 years.
Okay. So
you got 4 years to keep your motherfucking same thoughts and your motherfucking beliefs going and shit. Now you don't believe in what you believed in no more since the election over. That's the only point I'm trying to make. Hell, start now so you can have that shit on the nigga mind already. Hey, let's ask for something. Let's demand something. Start talking about that shit now till the next election.
I wanna pause because Kamar, you was trying to say something. Y'all was talking over each other. What were you saying?
Oh, my bad,
Kamar?
man. I couldn't hardly hear. That's my bad.
Oh no, it was all good. I done forgot what I said. Shit.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to step and say, first of all, I disagree with you about Cube. Because I think what Cube had been formulating, he had been working on for a while. This contract for America, and went to both parties equally. Trump said, "I'm willing to talk to you."
Right.
Biden said, "We'll holler back." Cube went. If he went and talked to Trump, I don't even know if he ever talked to him. I know he said he would be willing to because they said, "We'll talk to you." Now, I didn't think Cube was endorsing Trump. I looked at it like Cube is going to both parties saying, "This is what we want as foundational Black Americans." Now, as far as him not doing it now, with all of the Blacklash that he received, I wouldn't do it either.
Right. He just said, "Oh, y'all niggas lost.
That's what I said.
My only issue with that man was that he waited to the last minute. It seemed like, you know what I'm saying, you going in there to throw a monkey wrench.
But it wasn't really even about no election. It wasn't even about election. It wasn't about okay, since it's election time. It was about, here's the presentation of what we want to both parties. And maybe, like you said, maybe the timing was wrong. So a lot of people interpreted it as, oh, he's trying to help. If you go to both sides and say, I'm willing to talk to either one of y'all about what I got to present, and one side say, we good, are you going to say, well, I can't go talk to them? They said they'd talk to me, but no, fuck them. I don't think you can do that. I think you gotta show and prove that, look, this is what Black people want. Is bigger than the Republicans or the Democrats. And whoever want to talk, let's talk. Because if you ain't talking about shit, we're going to get up and leave anyways. Now, it's different from Steve Harvey and those early McNegroes who were stepping in. Oh, I wouldn't sit down with Mr. Trump. He's a brilliant man. You didn't see Cube shaking hands with him. Kanye got the hat on, damn near sitting on his lap. That deserves Blacklash to me. Right? So that's my thing. I mean, I think you have a valid perspective in terms of, where's he at now? But I totally agree with him saying fuck that shit. I mean,
Cube,
you got a platform though. Your voice speaks volumes. People listening to people. You know what I'm saying? That's why the pastor passed around the collection plate. You know what I'm saying? You get people to listen to you and believe in you. They'll damn near do anything you ask of them. You know what I'm saying?
We got to figure out whether or not
they're going to get the money to some bum. But you know that's a different topic.
I think we got to figure out whether we want entertainers and athletes to speak up or not. Because you know what I mean? You get a lot of the time where they say something and it don't be all the way right. And the motherfucker be like, you know what? That's just an entertainer or an athlete. He should have just shut up. Shut up and be quiet. Right. You know what I mean? And then it'd be times where we'd be like, you know what? They need to speak up. We need to figure out whether or not we want them to speak or not.
I think
no doubt. I understand that 100.
I think they have a responsibility. I think they have a built-in responsibility because there's no celebrity. There's no celebrity that is not made by the people. Your money comes from the people. We go see your fucking movies. We buy your brands, your clothes. We watch your TV shows. You got millions. We ain't got shit. And so people, there's an expectation that you speak out on important issues. The problem comes about when the manipulative media goes and finds the celebrity who shouldn't be speaking out. You're not gonna go talk to a
Right.
Sam Jackson or Denzel. You're gonna go find little baby Yo who's just in a couple movies, you know,
Little
and have
baby, yo.
you know, whoever the fuck his name is. We see it all the time. Like, why
Yeah,
this
yeah.
motherfucker talking? Like Kodak Black. Why the fuck would you go when something happens and say, hey, Kodak Black, what you think about the upcoming election?
I don't want to hear nothing homie got to say and shit. You know
No.
what I'm saying? Especially not on no platform. I mean, maybe, you know, we was chilling and shit and he had his opinions and shit that we can just shoot the shit about, you know, and be like, yeah, I see where you coming from with that, but
I mean,
put him on the platform for.
And shout out to Kodak Black, because I'm hearing he's doing some things with the people in his community, paying people's rent and whatnot. I'm just saying everybody has a lane, right? So you don't go and get the motherfucker who can't talk to speak. And you don't go get the motherfucker who talk and tell him, no, you be quiet. Right. So I feel like the media does that. And that's when that's when you get blacklash.
Right.
Well, Herschel Walker still damn near tied in Georgia, goddamn it.
Oh my God. We got a whole segment on Herschel Walker coming up. Shit. Talking about.
I'm gonna get out of here, man.
All right, man. Much love,
y'all. Peace, man.
Yes.
Peace.
Let me catch up with my chat room. Dion James said these people be playing in our face. And now they talking about twerking for votes. I can't believe some of the tactics they to find as an African American community. You're absolutely right. They pander for our votes. You got to understand when somebody.
This shit ain't new.
No,
this ain't new. This shit is. That's what they do. I mean, when motherfuckers talking about keeping hot sauce in their purse and shit, or
come on, man,
motherfuckers talk about they might legalize weed. They might have puffed it back ancient times ago. They play us. They play us all the time, and unfortunately, our community is eager and to step up and get fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like they and the thing with Cube, I believe, is he just wanted us to see that our vote counts and try to teach these dumb motherfuckers the power of leverage.
Right.
Like
that's it right there.
All he was saying is, hey, we need to come together, realize how powerful our vote is, and together decide what we want and tell these motherfuckers they don't have a vote from us until one of them is willing to run for one of our. That's all he was saying.
Right.
Neither
even if we don't look at it as like a racial thing, look at it just for yourself. Look at each of these candidates and find out what are they with, what are they pro and what are they cons. You know what I'm saying? And go from here. You know what I mean?
Cube was trying to do that.
Now, collectively, after that, we probably could, you know what I'm saying, work some points out as far as the pros and cons of the different people. But that's basically what he was teaching, man. Or
trying.
I like the word leverage. I like that you said leverage, because that's a real good way to look at it.
That's what it was.
Leverage is, regardless of what they tell you, black votes do matter. And I'm not trying to make a new hashtag or something.
Put that on the shirt, though.
It's real.
It is election time.
Black votes matter because we can turn elections. We've seen. Look at this is why Evers is sitting in Madison right now. This is why Sleepy Joe got to move in, and the Tangerine King had to move in.
They play black people and women by putting that woman up there.
Mar, Rail, and the Outlaw family. TR
Good evening.
What's going on, my sister? Biden told him to wait until after the election, and she's talking about Cube, and then he would have sat down with him. Let's see. ENC Jordan, what's up, my brother? Man, we gonna do this big black sports show. Shout out to ENC Jordan. He said that's over people's heads, though. You are right. Ewok said, learn how to put the weed in the bag first, then get money. Learn how to put the weed in the bag and then get money. You know what I'm saying? That's some foundational black American shit. Said Malcolm X talked about this in the Ballad of the Bullet. Yes. And so okay, so I guess where I'm going to, where I'm trying to get to is for people to understand, if I say black votes matter, then blacklash matters, right? I used to talk about removing and ostracizing Sambos and gatekeepers. I call them the clown club, right? There's a clown club. And this is it goes like this. And I won't because I want everybody to tell me when is it time to be critical? Because black people get down with the criticism. They call it Black Twitter. All that is Blacklash. They gave it a fancy name. It's Blacklash. Somehow Black Twitter. That's Black America, right? Uh, 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 Here's the clown club. So you got Kanye types who believe they're so far ahead of us and so think on such a higher level than us that they do asinine bullshit and is not productive or progressive for any of us. It's not something that people can benefit off of. Outside of the Kanyes, you have the gatekeepers, because we have a lot of gatekeepers who are sitting and prevent people who look like them from getting positions and being able to get things done because they're programmed and they're bought and sold. This is a clown club. These are the people who should be receiving the most blacklash, which means in the community, we're calling these people out. False prophets, people who exploit other people's desperation and need for redemption or some kind of answer to the questions that they always try to have answered. And people do that usually through spirituality. So you prey off of people. You pray off of them wanting to be like, man, I'm trying to find some salvation for my soul. You pray off of them. And I'm only talking to false prophets. I'm not talking to anybody that's really convicted by the man above that we call God, right? So if you out there and I know I'm anointed, don't get mad because I'm not talking about you, right? False prophets, they deserve backlash. If you pimping the community, and the game in Milwaukee is for a
I
lot
like,
of
I like to say praying on the community instead of praying for the community.
right, exactly. Praying on them instead of praying for them. I like that, right? But so how can that happen? So you say here's an individual who has a group of people and they have a religious whatever. They have some sort of church or group and they get together, they raise money. The majority of this money doesn't really benefit the parishioners. It goes in other places. And whatever it be, the building, whatever, the pastor, the people who you hire, whatever. And on top of that, what you do is you get money from downtown for some of the things you do in your community in order for you to say, well, vote for this person or let him come into church on Sunday and sit on the why do pastors come? I mean, mayors and politicians get to come into church and sit on the front row or in the pulpit or in the choir stand. Like, sit your ass in the back. We'll call for you when we need you.
Get in the back row.
Right. So I guess my whole point is these individuals end up with this kind of money. So when something really happens in the community that needs to be dealt with and you go to them, they will not support you. They will not support you. We were doing a community cleanup. I've never been the sentiment of how people looked at me. I've never been treated rougher than I was outside St. Mark AME. And I guess they didn't know I was born and raised in that neighborhood. And we had kids on both sides of the street doing a block cleanup, but we were dressed in black. It was the Black Panthers. Man, these people, other black people, turning their noses up, coming out like, I got 20 kids with me. Do you think I'm gonna snatch your purse? I'm gonna take your Easter hat. It was crazy. So I don't want to, I've been told, man, don't be so critical of the church. I'm just saying false prophets who don't teach the message of we got to be true and honest with our people and the politicians. If you're going to give me some money for my ministry, give it to me based on knowing the fact that when it come down to do for this community, I'm going to get down, regardless of if I'm with you or not. Don't get mad and take all my money. So throughout all these years when a lot of activism was happening, there wasn't a lot of religious places that were involved. But when they said, we're going to give you a property tax, you're going to have to start paying property tax. They got together. They went and shut down City Hall. They was out here marching. They was ready to fight. And the people were sitting there looking like, well, you are a victim of backlash because we see you as a negative. So nobody's coming out in the rain to support your march. I mean, coming to City Hall with you. So that's an example of backlash. But also, he said Herschel Walker, black individuals, foundational black Americans who run for political office and drink the Kool-Aid for whatever party that they are running, or I say serving, right? when they just become blindly affiliated with these organizations, they have deep allegiances to the point where you can't even really talk to them about politics in this country, because their only perspective is from that party. Those kind of want to be conservative right-wing Negroes who think if I act like Whitey, I can be Whitey, but you can't. And ultimately they show these Negroes they're the error of their ways. They all have what we call nigga moments. So that's the clown club. Those are the people who receive blacklash, sometimes unjustifiably so. Because if a politician is kind of middle of the road and you see him with some white people, you see him with some black people, say, oh, that he's an Uncle Tom. Right. So in that case, we say, damn, it shouldn't be utilized necessarily for that individual. And then my last group is celebrities, the clown club. Man, I don't know if people understand that a lot of celebrities will do anything to keep their fame. They'll do anything to keep it. They'll do anything to get in those exclusive circles, just to be in the Hollywood scene and get the parts. And on the surface, yeah, they'll tell you they stand for social justice and I'm gonna go do this and do that. They, especially the black ones, they be bought and sold, clown club. And a lot of them end up getting blacklash. We end up shitting on them basically in the community. Like, man, fuck him. Don't nobody go see his movies. Perfect example. Will Smith got backlash and a little blacklash, but black people, we used to people getting the shit slapped out of them, So that shit gets forgiven after a while. Black people already over it. He got a movie coming out.
Now he doing slave movies.
Right.
All else fail.
He's a
slave movie.
Slave. He's a runaway slave in this one.
Man, we always talk about slavery. Like, even with that whole Kanye West shit, like I try to look objectively because niggas is quick to get angry. And first off, why let the opinion of somebody else adversely affect your health? Because whenever you get mad, your blood pressure is skyrocketing, you're producing bullshit chemicals. But my thing, even with that, people was mad as fuck when he said slavery was a choice. But there is a perspective that says it is. And I'm one of those people that say I'm not faulting them.
Slavery being taken in bondage wasn't a choice.
But that part wasn't a choice.
Is the slavery.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I'm not faulting them for doing what we do today. I'm just gonna go along to get along, to survive to tomorrow, hoping that tomorrow is better. But at the end of the day, it still is a choice. So it's all about people's perspective.
But
no
real.
Yeah.
And when Kanye said that, I was thinking about, do you know how disrespectful that is for all of the black people who were murdered, hanged, who tried to fight back, who were shot down, assassinated, hold on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Tried to start movements. People who said, no, they were murdered. So it wasn't like black people was just scared for no reason.
No.
It was
most
like,
definitely.
Shit, I don't want to I'm in here with my babies. I want them to burn my shit up.
And like I said, I don't fault them. But
that doesn't sound like a choice to me.
But at the same time, there were over 250 slave revolts that did lead to at least 10,000 slaves escaping. So for the 250 slave revolts and the 10,000 motherfuckers that did escape, it was a choice, and they decided to exercise a different option.
Ooh,
and that right there is why I say remaining in bondage is a choice. You know what I'm saying? It's just like us understanding how they got us in mental slavery, got us fucked up, mental slavery, financial slavery, and all this shit right now.
To quit their job. That's slavery.
It's a choice to remain in this financial bondage.
Hold on. We got.
It wasn't a choice. It's not a choice. It's not a choice. It wasn't a choice for the slaves to be taken into bondage. They were forced into bondage.
Right.
But after that, you know what I mean? Like I said, they on the ship. Some motherfuckers chose to jump overboard. They chose not to remain in bondage. You know what I mean? So I think it's a choice to remain in bondage, but no, it wasn't a choice as far as being taken into bondage.
And it ain't no disrespect, because there were people who chose to stay on the plantation in order to tell other people, hey, they come here every Thursday to take people who want to get free out. So I mean, there were people who chose to stay there to help other people get free. So it definitely ain't no disrespect. We just have to understand that at the end of the day, even if death is a consequence of one of your choices, you are never in this world without a choice.
Okay. Let
That's
me
right.
catch up with the chat room.
Yeah,
Stephen
yeah, yeah.
Kilmore McCoy said Biden just let 2 million immigrants in. The black vote don't matter as much as it used to. I disagree. I think it matters because a lot of those immigrants don't vote. To be honest, a lot of them don't, especially if they're like, like we can speak our language and stay
They
in our
getting state benefits.
they
Shit, I
take
could
care
tell
of
you
they
that.
take care of their community. They only vote when somebody benefits them because they have solidarity. Ian C. Jordan said, "I'm heavily involved in politics. These people want that black vote." I agree.
Right.
He said, "Here's what they think about you." Right? Some Ice Cube. Right? Tiasha
Right.
Arthur said, "Lil Kim is part of the clown club." Yeah.
Damn. What
Look,
Lil Kim
Lil
do?
Kim. Lil Kim. First of all, she massacred herself, and
That's
all for it.
that's a
She's
mental
a clown.
illness, man.
She's a clown.
That's
She's a
mental illness, man.
Okay, well then it's the clown club is got endless membership, right? Because all these
It's
motherfuckers got
all inclusive,
right.
even the crazy folks.
I'm thinking this is Courtney said or somebody. It says Facebook user. It was never a damn choice. Put the blunt down. I can't see their name. It just says Facebook user. Let me
Who
hear what
got
it
a blunt up? Who got a blunt?
Yeah,
it was
but
MC Tone who said that. He said it was never a choice.
Why you say put the blunt down?
yeah. I mean
So
that sounds like
check this out.
that's outrage, and I
Check this
understand
out.
everybody don't want to hear that,
I've
but
heard both of your perspectives on it,
yeah,
and I want to say first of all, I still think it's disrespectful to an individual who was trying to get away, who was chased down and hanged, burned at a tree.
that is a person who tried to
Okay,
exercise that other option. Was
okay,
it successful? No,
Motherfucker,
but
hey,
they tried.
motherfucker
They
don't want to
died
choose.
trying to get free
Hey, a
okay.
motherfucker don't want to have to make their choice of
because they
life or death.
understood it was a choice.
You
They
don't want to,
understood it
motherfucker
was
don't
a
want to
choice.
make their
I heard. I
choice.
know. I get both of y'all agree
Oh
that
yeah,
it's
But
for
a
it's
sure,
choice.
for
definitely
sure.
a
My bad,
choice,
man. My
man.
bad.
I get both of y'all think it's a choice. I heard y'all say that. What I'm saying is I disagree, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay. Well, why can't we
Because
keep what we saying? You,
because
you do it.
damn, can I say mine? Are we
You done
ready
said it
for it?
3 times too,
No,
just like we did.
I haven't even finished. Just let me finish. What I'm saying is when you look around and you say people are choosing, they're scared to quit their jobs because they don't want to be poor. So that's a choice. I think in life there are certain things that you have to do. And we talk about all the time self-preservation. So
But that's what I'm saying.
But
so
can
That
you
people who are
can you
saying
choose to do better?
I'm living in bondage, but I'm gonna make sure that I preserve myself and my family. I don't think that's well, I choose to be a slave. When the
Can you
day
make a
comes,
choice to do
of
better?
course you can go off and say, well, I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna run. Yeah, you can do that.
yeah.
Can you
I
make a
said
choice to do better, to
slavery was
start to
not a
learn
choice.
more? Can you
Slavery
make
was
a
not
choice
a
to do
choice.
And
better,
I
to learn
respect your
more, how to
opinion
make
too,
more
fam.
money, how to start a
Yeah.
business, how to run a business? You can make a choice to do more stuff, is what we saying with
Everybody's
that.
not an entrepreneur. Everybody's not an entrepreneur.
You don't have to
You
be an
know what?
You
entrepreneur. You
can't
can
tell
learn
me
about
that
stocks. You can learn about real estate. I mean, you don't have to be an
everybody's not an
entrepreneur to do
entrepreneur.
that.
Everybody's not to quit my job and just say I'm gonna get my own money.
You don't
I,
have
I
to
haven't
be
quit
an
my job yet,
entrepreneur to
Kev.
do those two
So
things
are
what I
you?
just
So
said.
you choose to? So you choose to live in poverty? You a slave to your
I
job?
have not quit my job yet. And that's why I can stand here and tell you, yes, I choose to work for the state right now as I plot and plan my escape. I do. And it doesn't take, and I think that's what's wrong with us. We look at the bigger shit instead of taking it one at a time. Like I just had a conversation with somebody, it was saying multiple streams of income is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. And people are like, well, everybody can't work more than one job. We gotta first off, we gotta learn new information so we can start understanding new options out there. Yes, I work a 9 to 5 working for the state because I need state insurance, I need my state check. But I also understand that instead of going and spending $40 on fast food, I could spend $14.99 on a Shopify account and have an online store to where it don't cost me shit, Kev, the first month because you could drop ship. And so it's like there are options out there. We just have to get more awareness through knowledge. And ignorant is not a We got to stop being ass hurt, man. Ignorant is not a slur. It is not slander. Ignorant is just a lack of information where you can't make a decision if you don't understand there's better out there and understanding what it would take.
Shout out to Deion James.
Yeah.
He said we can't compare this day and age with the period of slavery. Those people were tortured every day to remain in bondage, and it was not a choice. It was their life, and they knew nothing else but slavery and the plantation.
Life or death. Life or death. That's why that or is there, because there's a choice.
What you
life or death.
What you both always say to me, I hear y'all testimonies, but what y'all keep saying, what y'all would do or what y'all do, but like y'all tell me, everybody's not you.
Nobody said
I can't tell you what I would have did.
Nobody said what we would do.
I might have went along to get along, hoping that one day my kids will be free. So, like I said, it is not disrespect or shitting on anybody to say, hey, you know what, by the way, if you did choose to pick up a log and burn that motherfucker down, you might have died trying. But you might have died. I mean, like I said, the history do not tell you about the success stories. Just like when you watch drug movies, you never hear about the motherfuckers that retired and lived a good life. I know plenty of them motherfuckers who got legit businesses now. They tell you about the nigga that fucked up and went to jail or got killed because they're not going to motivate you to understand other shit happened. 10,000 motherfuckers escaped during the Revolutionary War. And 250 uprisings. They killed white women, white children, white men to be free. And even, like I said, not even if we don't stay in America and look at Haiti, the reason Haiti is fucked up now through embargoes and all the bullshit is because they actually did choose to stand up and exercise that other option. It may be unpopular, it may be hard and difficult as fuck, but it was still an option that they chose to exercise. They freed Haiti and then went over to South America and freed a lot of South American colonies. Now, would I have been Billy Badass to do it? I don't know. I wasn't getting hit in the back with a whip, but I am saying that there were exceptions out there who chose to look at slavery as a choice and
there
chose
right now who say that. There's a lot of people who agree with Kanye West. I've heard them speak. Deion James said, I don't care.
And I feel like that's just because they understand that perspective.
Right. Your perception is your reality. Like they say, whether you think you can't or you think you can, you are absolutely correct.
Deion James says, I don't care if you work for yourself. White supremacy is a global web and it's not escapable. They say they only use it. The only use to be free is to destroy this web. ENC Jordan said, I didn't have the information. I was stuck. Once I got the information, things changed drastically. Deion said 10,000 out of 4 million people in bondage ain't even 10%.
I understand that.
So here's the deal.
But those 10,000 chose to exercise other choice.
I used to have this conversation with my mother. I used to have this conversation with my mother about the Jim Crow South. Yes, and since we were kids, obviously from the city, from a different time, we would always talk shit when she would tell us how it used to go down. And we used to say, "Oh man, Mama, I wouldn't have did. We would have." And my mother used to always,
you don't know what you would have did.
And she used to say, they would have gave your ass a Chinese name. He hung high. You wouldn't have done a goddamn thing, but did what the fuck they told you to do.
Right.
Because what she explained to me was because if you start kicking up dust, it had ramifications on the whole family. So the family is like, nah, man, chill that shit because you're gonna
we police ourselves.
So when you're using trouble.
That's how they got us in the religion.
When you're using tactics like that, you can't say it's a choice. When you say
that's how they got us in the religion.
Don't want to die.
So Christianity ain't a choice either.
It's not.
That's the same way they got us in a religion. So religion ain't a choice either.
It's not right now. Religion's not a choice right now. Or you saying from back then?
It never was then, if that's the case.
I think it wasn't then. I think they put it on you, but I think it is now. Absolutely. There's a lot of people who ain't religious at all.
Yeah, of course. And just like remaining in the same type of bondage that we talking about right now. You know,
there's levels to bondage. There's the 9 to 5 bondage. There's the religion bondage. There's the paying school debt bondage. There's the American dream bondage. Like there's level before a motherfucker even realized he bound this system got him bound in 4 to 5 other programs of bondage. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not faulting anybody. Again, no need to get ass hurt. No need to get all passionate and all niggified and shit. It's just an opinion. It's an opinion. You have your opinion. I have my opinion. And once we can stop getting ass hurt at the next motherfucker's opinion, we can exhibit emotional intelligence and have discussions to figure out a fucking plan.
The funniest thing about this is you yelling while you saying this. You got passion while you saying it. So you actually
this is the
right now. You know, but you saying it ain't no need to do this,
right? Because you know my voice is shot, so I gotta project because you know I keep wetting my whistle and shit. Yeah, I mean you do get it's frustrating. It's frustrating to realize you can't even rally some motherfucking troops because they gonna get ass hurt at the first thing, and
they don't know they need to be. Hey, they don't know they need to be rallied.
Right. Like every time my niggas used to always talk about revolution and shit. Oh fuck that, man. We need to run out. Okay. Do you know how to grow anything? Do you know medical support? Do you know logistics? Because every motherfucker want to get ass hurt and run out the street with a gun. But if you don't have a foundation and strategy, all they gotta do is cut off your supply, your chain of supply. And starve you the fuck out.
So you all mad. Stop passing out the medicine.
So stop
passing out the medicine. We fuck.
Get angry enough to do some more research and just get educated. G. That's it. Learn how to grow shit. Learn how to distill sugar water into alcohol for this is the shit I'm learning. Because
so you're basically saying that there's no such thing as Blacklash. People are just ass hurt. That's what you labeling it as.
Well, unfortunately, and the beauty of our people, it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged. We are passionate because we're so spiritual and soulful that it translates into passion. But on the flip side of that, we lack the logic. Like you have to find that balance of emotion and logic. Left and right brain all the time. When you become one, that's when shit changes. When you take that emotion of the right hemisphere and put the logic of the left hemisphere, say, I'm mad as fuck. That nigga pissed me off. Okay, how do I strategize to get from under this condition? But we don't get to that point because we get stuck and I'm mad as fuck. You know, I just want to.
I don't know if it's always a visceral reaction. I
believe we became the lapdog of the Democrats. We're their attack dog. When anybody say
it's impossible to know if you mad or not from reading what you said on the internet. We interpret it because we'll read like you.
No, I ain't talking to I ain't talking to them. I'm talking to the people who get mad at shit like even that shirt. Fuck that shirt. Like I never said
that shirt is pivotal. That
shirt I never said Black Lives Matter because that was never my life is not a slogan. If me as a living, thinking, loving human being has to explain to somebody else how my life matters, we are beyond discussion, and that motherfucker don't deserve my breath.
It's a statement. It's easy to be dismissive of it and say fuck it, but it's a statement and it means something. It's an indicator.
My life matters and your life matters.
I understand that, and this is the whole point. We all know nobody ever said no life didn't matter.
Right.
I never heard black people say white lives didn't matter. I've never heard them say blue lives did. Matter of fact,
that's why I chuckled and kept
walking around. Weren't even walking around saying Black Lives Matter. It came about because this was a movement. Now, what he added to this, he put the connotation to it. He said, I wore this shirt because we knew Black Lives Matter
was a
scam, and I'm glad it failed and this kind of thing. Now, but see, be specific who you talking about here, Kanye, because you are one of the best friends of the LGBT community, and really, that was their movement. So when you say that, there's an indicator there. You have taken a stance on something. Nobody walks around with something written across their chest unless they believe in it or unless they're taking a stand. Unless you got on the design or something. But when you put a statement like white lives matter, what it says is, fuck what y'all talking about.
How is that detrimental to me?
How is it detrimental?
To me.
I didn't say it was detrimental to you at all. I said
then what's the problem?
I've seen shirts with arrows that say I'm with stupid and it's pointing at the wife.
I
So
didn't say it was
are they?
detrimental to you, Kamar. I didn't say it was detrimental to you
Well, I
because
mean, well, because
you
we
on
were
a whole
saying,
different level. For
because
people who
we was
don't have
talking about to our
understanding,
people, detriment. You know, what I mean, people
people who
doing
don't have
detrimental shit to our
understanding, who
people.
are out here looking to him for leadership, take all of this in. I didn't
That's
say
where they fuck up.
first of all,
Look
I
to
never
no
said
man.
it was detrimental. I never said it was detrimental. I said it was a statement.
Well,
I didn't say it was
earlier we talking
detrimental at all
about. I
because
just said
it
that
didn't
because
hurt my
earlier,
stomach because he wore the shirt, but I get what he means. I know what he means when I see him put that on.
earlier when I brought up Ice Cube, we was talking about what was detrimental when artists do stuff that's detrimental to
That shit
us.
crazy.
That's
I
why I
never,
said. That's why I said. How was that shirt detrimental to me? How
I
does
never
that
said
affect
I
me?
never used the word
And
detrimental. I never
okay,
said detrimental. I never
all right,
did because I
Kevin.
don't
All right,
believe
all right.
because I don't
But
believe
that's, yeah, I'm just
celebrity.
saying you probably didn't use that word, Kevin, but that's what we was getting at.
No, I
We was
didn't.
talking about something
You
being destructive to our
okay?
race, our community, or
Right.
whatever.
I'm explaining it. I didn't say it was detrimental because nothing a celebrity does is detrimental. It's a fucking celebrity.
Well, then,
Nothing. As a matter of
well,
fact,
what's the
it doesn't
problem?
matter
What's
if
the
you turn
problem
on
with what
Right, it's a
Kanye
the
West
celebrity.
news.
or what Ice Cube did
If
with
you
Travis?
turn
What's
on
the
the
problem
news, if
then?
you turn
What
on
is
the news
everybody in
and
the
you hear
upright
certain
for?
information, if you turn on the news and you hear certain information, you take it in. Now, I didn't have a problem with Ice Cube. Ewok had a problem with Ice Cube. As a matter of fact, I condone what
And
Ice Cube did.
and that was my
I'm not
point. And that
against it.
was my
And
point of the
that
difference
wasn't
with
even
Ice Cube.
detrimental.
But that was my point with the difference between Ice Cube and Kanye is how we all look at it. Like, okay, it's people who look at Kanye one way, and there's some people who look at Kanye another way. Then you got people who look at Ice Cube one way for what he did, and they look at Ice Cube another way for what he, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
I don't. I
So
think
it's a
that goes
matter of
without saying.
perspective with both of them people.
It's
So
always
I'm just trying
opinions
to
on both
figure out.
sides of
I'm
the.
just trying to figure out what makes anything detrimental to me enough for me to worry about the shit they doing.
I don't know what makes things detrimental to you because I didn't use that word. So
You don't have to. I'm using that word.
you
Because
can't about it.
see what we saying is what they did is bad for us. It's a bad look. So
What
what
I
I'm
did,
saying is,
the word I
why
did
should I
use is
worry about it if it ain't a bad look to me?
the word I
For
did
me.
use is counterproductive. And when I
Okay.
said
Well,
that,
how is that
and
counterproductive
when I
for
said
me?
that, I wasn't speaking from your perspective. I was speaking from mine. I didn't say it was counterproductive for you. I was giving my opinion of it. Like you said, it's two different sides. I was giving my
Right.
side of it. And it's open, it's open conversation. So that wasn't
Yeah.
about, oh, Kamar's ruining you. You need to say fuck Kamar. I'm not trying to get nobody
Yeah.
to join my club because the one thing I'm not gonna do is try to change any grown man's mind about anything. I think there's enough room for everybody to give their perspective and be able to justify it. Now, Ian Jordan said, talk about how MPS is making it a requirement to take a FAFSA loan out to graduate.
That shit crazy.
Hold on. To take a FAFSA out, and you have to fill out the application as a requirement. I haven't heard that, and I work with MPS schools right now. I haven't heard that. As a matter of fact, I'm deeply involved in it because we're working to help kids go to college. So I haven't heard that taking the FAFSA was even on the proposal for taking. Because I don't know how you could do that. It's you have to take the FAFSA in order to graduate. Would they gonna
That'd be
make you
crazy. Are
for it?
they
Like
gonna make you apply for school, college or something?
I know
Is that
some schools say you have to, as a senior, you have to apply for something. So you have to apply
oh,
for
okay.
MATC or something like that. But I don't think no student has not graduated because they didn't do it. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of students like, fuck that shit. They be so happy to get students graduated. They're not gonna hold you back for that shit. Like, man, you better let
Right.
them cross that stage.
No child left behind.
He said I'm about to talk to our young people. That's good, Ian. I mean,
That's dope.
that's a real positive thing to do is go and talk to the young people. Said they were trying to antagonize and trend certain things that you see in the media for people who are weak minded because you're not worried about somebody who has a strong opinion or a strong platform. You're trying to convince people who are looking for some place to be. So obviously, there's a lot of people who don't have access to the information that you or myself or Kamar may have. So they do things that we would say that's foolish. But I'm pretty sure I do some shit that they say that's foolish. So goes life,
It's all
right?
good.
It's
I
it's
hug
all open.
trees.
It's all open to criticism. And that's why I said, is Blacklash being ass hurt? You said ass hurt, right? That's what you said, right?
Yeah, a lot of people just, I mean, at the end of the day, man, like I said, when you realize how being angry at something or somebody negatively impacts your body, you would ask yourself, why the fuck am I gonna raise my blood pressure because of this dumb motherfucker's opinion, this dumb motherfucker's shirt, this dumb motherfucker's actions if they don't threaten my freedom or livelihood or
Is somebody
well-being.
mad at Kanye though? Is somebody saying I'm gonna whip
I,
his ass over the shirt?
no, I've been seeing people, I ain't buying another Kanye. And it's like, ooh, I ain't bought Kanye shit in a minute. But really, did black people make him a billionaire buying that ugly ass shit? I didn't see too many black people with that ugly shit. I'm starting to see like
Kids love it.
my
They love
son
them
wanted some
ugly ass
Yeezys.
shoes, that's for sure.
Yeah, my
I
son
just
wanted
bought
some
my son a
Yeezys.
pair. Kids love it. I'm trying
Man,
to tell
yeah,
you.
my son asked for a pair of Yeezys for graduation.
Right.
And I'm not a sneakerhead. Shoes are a means to an end. I'm literally wearing them to run them into the ground. So I never been that nigga. I'd rather buy him a share of Nike before I buy him these ugly ass shoes. And that's what I told him. So I think he had his mom about something.
Right, I bet you. I'm finna say you got your brother in gym in some shower shoes. Talking about I got next game. No, you don't. Not with them shoes, bro.
Ugly ass Star Trek shoes.
Look, hit us up 262-202-5131. It's Outlaw Radio on a Wednesday night. Blacklash. Exactly the tone and the pitch of the conversation is perfect because it shows you how contentious we get when we start trying to give our point of view and our perspective. Always forget that this is our shit. It is
Right.
super subjective. It everything is subjective, right? What kind of cereal you like? I don't fuck with cereal. That's poison.
Right.
Your opinion of it is. Now you say mine is based on truth, though his ain't. So that means you're assuming everything I say is true and everything he say is false. I don't. So that's why I say when we say backlash versus blacklash.
Yeah.
Now you said Kanye. I didn't hear. I'm not angry at Kanye about the shirt. I'm
No,
not
I'm seeing statuses like, oh, Kanye been the clown. I'm
He
never
has
buying
been.
this shit again. And I'm like, I wrote the motherfucker off when he start thumping Jesus. You know how I feel about that. so I don't. It ain't like I'm a Kanye fan. Fuck,
Right.
dude. But what I'm saying is, stop getting y'all panties in a bunch because of what another motherfucker think, say, wear. No matter who he is.
Or do.
Right, he a nigga that made money. That's all he is. He's not a spokesperson for me. He's not a leader. He's not an idol. He a billionaire. I aspire to be a billionaire.
I'm a weirdo.
I feel like I got a whole bunch of shit to work on, and so does that brother.
Right.
And so does every other brother out here.
Exactly.
It ain't my place to talk about no other brother faults, especially after, you know what I mean, there was a point in time when we talking about a motherfucker having mental issues.
Wait,
you know what I mean? Like, I just can't bring myself to talk about a brother like that who we feel like got mental illnesses and shit.
I call a coon, and
right. Hey, right. And you have the right to
the whole path of falling in love with the white girl and having your mind scrambled like eggs over her and not being able to let this shit go and saying and doing all kinds of counterproductive shit, sitting
all that shit.
On
and
his
Jesus,
red hat, all that shit's cool shit. That's cool shit.
And Jesus, throw Jesus in there, man. That's cool shit too.
You sound like an old. Don't forget what he said about
throw
Jesus.
some Jesus in there. That's some cool shit too, man.
There's gonna be some people out here laughing at you saying this nigga keep talking about Jesus. They'll get at you about that,
and that's cool. And you know, fam, I've been overweight my whole fucking life. I've learned to live in spite of what people think about me. You know, that's their opinion, and you know, I have mine. And as long as everybody respect everybody's space and right to have an opinion, we all good.
When we lose our edge, we lose ourselves. We done. Passion is one of the things to me that makes black people a dynamic group of individuals because we are passionate. Now,
if it's focused and directed, we're powerful as fuck.
I was taught a long time ago about channeling. You know, especially if you have anger and if you are an aggressive individual, you have to channel that energy into something else. And the conversation to black people is to not tell them not to have it, but to say, let's learn how to use it. Let's learn how to use it. If we all feel this goddamn passionate where we would tear this motherfucker, black people, we tear this motherfucker up. Black people would just, man, we would move some furniture in this motherfucker. They willing to fight. And then if you ask them, what y'all fighting about, really? It just comes. He said,
that one time, I think that's
now
why
we had that same energy in saying, one nation, we all together, and out of respect, I'm gonna respect your opinion, you respect mine, and
right,
we're good. We haven't learned that skill yet, and we hadn't learned that skill when we were slaves. We hadn't learned how to get together and break out of it. So once again, it wasn't a choice. So I just had to throw that in there as a
and I respect your opinion on that, fam. And And that's your perception, and your
Even when I'm
perception
starting
is
shit,
reality.
that's your retarded ass perspective.
Oh no, no, everybody.
That was the nicest way somebody ever told me to go to hell in my
According to
life.
your awareness, that is your reality.
You go ahead with that, boss. Go ahead with that. I'm like patting a little kid on the head saying, now go to bed. Right? Okay. I hear you, little Bob. It's all
you
good.
know, shit, I just live and let live. You know?
Right. Let me see. What we got in the chat. Kanye West has a big following like Ice Cube, and by him walking around with that shirt, it's indirectly making us look silly. Okay,
It don't make me look silly.
Making
Shit.
him look silly.
Shit, that
I'm
don't make me
wearing
look
that
like
shirt.
nothing. Shit.
It's making him look
If-
silly. It don't make me look no different. And that's what I was getting at when I asked,
Right.
like, how was that bad for me?
Right.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
called
Really,
to take offense because you have to choose to take offense. Can't nobody give you offense. You have to say, you know what? I think I want to be mad at that shit right there.
I'm gonna take
Because
that one today. Yeah.
Right.
I think it hurts. I think it hurts all of us when there's a direct illustration of the fact that we can't be together, that we're not on the same page, that we all ain't on code. And
We
I think
never together on
You
shit.
can't get mad at him
I think
because
that
we ain't.
leaves room. I think that leaves room for people to do what they've always been doing, which is divide and conquer. So
Mhm.
overall, it hurts all of us. If we are not decisive about what we're going to do about the condition of our people in this country, we're never getting ahead. And so every time we show a little crack, they seep through it. And so and it's long-term damage. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's not, you ain't falling out today because of like, oh shit, Kanye. No, not at all. But when it comes to our unity, which is what we need, because if we were unified, we'd all be doing better. Collectively, we'd all be doing better. Like we'd all be in a way better position from the top to the bottom. But because there's always a way to come in with us and divide us with little shit. So you go out there and you put on a shirt and say white lives matter. Listen, there's so much going on in this world that there's a million other things you could have put on your shirt. Right?
I think the reason why I divide is because we go back and forth on the podcast about the shit because we let it bother us.
Well, I think a
That's
podcast.
the division. That's the division right there. Cause see, I ain't even just saying this on a podcast, but like even if somebody was sitting in McDonald's talking about this shit, it's creating a divide.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? That's why I say we shouldn't even be worried about what the fuck dude doing. We need to be focused on ourselves.
Just say that's his
Ourselves.
crazy
We all
ass.
got shit that's fucked up about us. We all got some coon shit about us that we need to work on.
And we got to pay attention so we can call it out when we see it in each other. You got to be able to call each other out on it. Like ain't nobody beat out real close.
That don't work.
I think step one, man, like I say all the time, step one is emotional intelligence. So that we can have a conversation and strategize without anybody getting so defensive that they don't hear anything else. Like once somebody is defensive, you wasting your breath trying to talk to them.
When you see this,
right? Like we need to have a child support conversation. We need to have the child molestation conversation of everybody's household. Like we need to have conversations that we can't have until we get some emotional intelligence up in our group.
Seeing is how Kanye is being mishandled with where he was at one point with his children, with his ex-wife. He should have had a shirt on that said "Black Fathers Matter."
Yeah, that would have been smart.
Matter. Like there's a million other things you could have said. Deion says we're gonna start seeing white people wearing that shirt. It will embolden them. He said, regardless if people feel like it will affect them or not, it's a ripple effect, and it will have a direct effect eventually. I think that's what he's saying. I interpreted the last.
I mean, and it definitely could, just like how people felt Trump being in the White House gave white people an extra help in the nuts. You know what I'm saying? It may have, but the thing is, shit. This is shit. All it does is cause shit that they kept under a rock to come to the surface. And now they can be dealt with accordingly. So again, instead of worrying about that, strategize and plan. Learn how to forage. Learn how to grow shit. Learn tactics. Go to the firing range. Like there are.
You gotta have balance though. Don't you gotta be paying attention to what's going on to better?
Yeah, but all people doing is focusing on that and getting mad at that instead of taking that anger and, like you said, channeling it into proactivity. We stop at getting mad. Mad, all anger is telling you that something needs to change. Either your circumstance, your location, your condition, or at least your mindset. But that's what anger is. Use it wisely instead of sitting at home getting high blood pressure and stress the fuck out and ain't channeling it right.
I think the clown club does plenty damage to the community. I think the members of it, because they help drive a narrative, and they help change it and set opinions. I like to think all my people are fully aware and fully, of the mindset of where we need to be, but I know that's not the reality. And as long as we got people that can be used as drones and
Yeah.
as minions, it hurts all of us as well, because that prevents us from being together. Because a lot of us are just, you can get hypnotized by
Yeah.
this, what goes on in America. You can get caught in a rut. That's why I
Yeah.
see a lot of people saying, I'm about to take a social media break. I don't never need it, because I don't digest social media like that. I read it, I laugh at it, I'm aware of it, but I'm not walking around with the latest trend or latest fad or the latest hashtag or the latest challenge.
But it programs so many
It
people.
does.
Like
It got people
it's
walking around like this.
right because
I
of
see
social
a guy like
media.
Kanye or any other coon doing something in public, it hurts me too. Because it's like, man, every time we take 5 steps forward, we take 3 back. And this motherfucker is the one who pushed us back. A
So
habitual
he
mindset.
pushed us
Push me
back
back.
because he wore a shirt.
Not just him. I'm saying collectively,
Oh,
when we have an
okay.
individual who
Yeah.
does something like this, and this ain't even the most egregious coon act right now, because right
Okay.
now there's some elected black official who's
Yeah.
taking money that should be for poor people, diverting it somewhere else. So what he's doing is way more damaging to us, and he's part of the clown club too, because I talked about the fake politicians. But I'm
Yeah.
saying what Kanye is, as part of that club, he gives them merit. He has money. He has money to influence this. So if he wants,
So
like Dion said, now all of a sudden, if these shirts become this thing that white
yeah.
lives matter.
Yeah.
Now everywhere I go, I got to see this shit, and they're gonna be like, it becomes
And they
tense,
had Blue Lives Matter shirts,
and it was
and
tense. It was
it
tense.
wasn't an onslaught of. I mean, it was some shit,
It was
but
a lot of people got their shit knocked off for
I
wearing
mean,
blue
yeah,
lives matter.
it was, But again, it goes to like you were saying. I mean, shit, people do shit. I mean, they do. Like
People
it
do.
ain't nothing. But I mean, well, I guess I want to ask this. This is how I get. So I understand the Kanye West shirt shit.
I'm
Now, do
just using
you?
him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying any of them motherfuckers, the Candace, whatever, bitch, like
Oh,
that shit, like, I mean, whoever, like, to me, they just up dumb nigga, dumb bitch, keep it moving. But are they more detrimental to us than the average rapper saying, catch a body, shoot a nigga in the face, fuck a bitch, don't trust her,
Straight up.
or
Because that's
bitches?
I'm not.
who
Is that
motherfuckers
more
paying attention
detrimental?
to
You're
out
right,
here.
them the
No, it's
motherfuckers
not more.
hypnotizing our youth.
It's not. And you
Them
got a
the
great
That's who
point.
motherfuckers we need to
motherfuckers paying
worry
attention
about.
to.
You got a great point. They're not more detrimental. And I don't bump the shit because I've elevated above that shit. There's a
Right.
version of it that I identify with from my youth, but I was a young,
Yeah.
ignorant young buck, and I realized a long time ago that's the wrong way to think. But you make a great point, and they don't get an excuse either. So let's put them in the clown club. Let's put them in there too. There's always room for more.
I
It's
think
always
we
room
should
for more.
prioritize them over Kanye though, because our kids hear this shit day in, day out as they go to school, come home from school, while they sitting in lunch, catch a body, fuck a bitch. Catch a body, fuck a bitch.
So then we have the argument about what's more damaging, what you see or what you hear. Because we see Kanye with his red hat on, sitting on Trump's lap, doing a lot of shit, and
And we
that's
hear
key.
motherfuckers saying, kill
It's
your
all
brother,
programming.
fuck your sister.
Right.
When
So
you
which
it's
one does more damage, to what you see or what you hear? I
they
believe it's
they
both fuckery.
they both, I
I
would
would,
say they go hand in hand, but I can't say I believe motherfuckers hear detrimental music more than they see this image of Kanye West.
Ooh, I
And
disagree.
and the most easiest way to program the subconscious is through symbolism and repetition. So if they hearing this shit repetitively, they rapping this shit. I'm a killer. I shoot that nigga down, walk a op down. As they get to saying this shit and chanting this shit, it does alter it's scientifically proven to alter their mind state.
So then put movies in there. Put cowboy
Yeah,
movies.
exactly.
all
All
that,
that
all
shit.
All
that,
that shit in
all
there.
All,
that
All
shit.
like
that
I
shit in
seen
there.
a status that
Because
said,
John Wayne, what they say
"Oh
about
yeah,
John Wayne, his
Yeah,
movies, you know what I'm
motherfucker
saying? So
him
yeah,
and
all that
John
shit.
Wayne."
And that's what I was saying when we was talking about the Woman King movie. You know what I mean? Everything out here is fucked up.
Yeah,
All this shit we watch, everything they got us listening to, it's
It's
all
all propaganda and
lies, it's
programming.
all
It most
propaganda,
definitely is.
everything. We might as well just ban every fucking thing.
well, I didn't, and I'm not even saying ban Kanye West. I'm just calling him out for his coonery. And I don't think most people. I believe, like I started this out by saying I thought he was a very, very, very talented musician. I think in that lane he is, and his music is it represents something to a lot of people. So he has a following of people that are going to watch him. He has influence. The danger is in the influence, right? So when you say what is he doing so bad? Well, he's influencing a lot of people with some of the cool shit that he does.
No, I
And
feel what you're saying.
I see coons being almost cloned, right? The
No,
the
I feel what you're saying.
the killer clones, the killer coon clones.
But
I just made up some shit. He said white people judge a lot of us on celebrities' actions. They already look at us as basketball players and football players. White people don't have enough knowledge about black
Fuck
people
what white people
to
think. How
not
about that?
judge us on the action of another. Ernest Walker.
Fuck what white people think. That's one of our motherfucking problems right there. Motherfuckers worried about what white people think. Our girls is worried about what white people think is beautiful. Cause come on, man. Fuck what white people think
can't walk out the house
Ernest
without
Walker.
a wig on the
about
head and
us.
shit.
Ernest Walker says Black Lives Matter is a slogan to point out police brutality and killings. Kanye knows this. By wearing that dumbass shirt is a problem for us all. You can't just say it doesn't affect me if it's harmful to us all. That's Ewok in the chat room. Let me see who else we got.
And I definitely respect his opinion, and he has the right to feel that way.
Said, look at how one lady who frauded the welfare system and everybody was getting rich off. He said, look at how one lady who frauded the welfare system and everybody was getting rich off of welfare. Okay, I hear. I just want to catch up with the chat room, but I want to go back to what Mark said about the Woman King movie, which is, it was subject to criticism as anything else is put out. And what made me mad about the whole situation is when those of us who chose to criticize the movie did so, people who liked the movie took offense to it. Like people took it like people who like the
Oh
movie,
man, come on, man. Come on,
man.
man.
They squared up with you like, well, don't you care
Oh
about Viola Davis?
no, man.
So yeah, they did. They took immediate offense to it. As soon as you said, I don't like that, I think that's well, come on, man, it's just a movie. I mean, it's like, damn, I didn't say you shouldn't go see it. I'm just telling you what
nah, man. I ain't seen no. All through Facebook, I never seen a situation like that.
Oh, you must not have been looking at this.
What I saw was people posting how
arguments.
they liked the movie, and then people jumping in talking about what was fucked up about it. Just like when I posted it,
And
I got a bunch of people on my post talking about what's fucked up about the movie. I'm out of order for liking the movie. I shouldn't like the movie. All kind of bullshit. I ain't never seen nobody post how they didn't like the movie, and then it's a bunch of people in there arguing with them. I never seen it.
I did.
I did.
You didn't look at the right post because I've seen a lot of that.
I posted the video I posted the video of how the Dahame were involved in the transatlantic slave trade. People hopped on my post. Just watch the movie, man. It's a beautiful movie. They touch on that a little bit, but that was when they was trying to get out of slavery.
It's a movie.
So it's both sides. You know, we see. You know, I guess we see what affects us. You know, so right. I mean, but I didn't get mad at them sisters. Go ahead, sisters, watch it. Feel empowered. You know what I'm saying? Be willing to fight for your nigga.
And when I mentioned the movie, I was just referencing when I mentioned the movie, I was just referencing how all this shit is fucked up out here.
No, nobody.
It ain't no purpose. There ain't no reason for us to be arguing over no motherfucking movie and shit.
But we did, though.
You know it's all fucked up.
But we did argue over it. We did argue.
I know exactly. And my point was why we shouldn't be.
I mean,
people too is even with the criticism, nobody was telling them don't go see it. People were saying just know the truth about it when you see it.
Shit, motherfuckers was saying we don't need to go see that movie. Don't go see that movie.
I didn't see nobody
don't go in there. Don't go to that movie. Don't take your
kids
to see that movie.
Yeah, I was saying some.
You said I didn't see that. I didn't see that on my Facebook.
In the conscious community, like I be watching like Dr. Kaba, and you know, so a lot of in the conscious community, they was saying that they was gonna boycott it. But I posted a interview with Dr. James Smalls. I posted it in the People's News Network the other night, where he said they asked him because you know he's the consultant for the Godfather of Harlem because he was like deep involved in that movement and shit. So he said, you know, yes, they were involved in the slave trade. He said, but it's no different than today where you got a brother standing on the corner selling crack to his brother. He was like, black people have always done fucked up things to black people, but that don't negate the fact that these people came in, and he said a lot of the Dahomey and those coastal, because it wasn't just the Dahomey, it was like the Ashanti, all kind, it was a bunch of motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
So he was saying how yes, they did. He was like, but the white slave trade that took place after 1492 or 17 something, he was saying basically that was just taking over the Islamic slave trade. So he was like, yeah, he ain't refuting the fact that, that shit happened. He was just saying basically what we say when we say eat the meat, spit the bone. You know what I'm saying? Draw your lessons, draw your encouragement, and understand the fuck ass shit, but always try to find the positive and the negative.
Wait, Deion James said we can say fuck white people, but we have to live in a world where they.
No, I said fuck what they think.
No, this is him. I'm just reading.
I know. I'm saying. I said fuck what they think. I didn't say fuck white people.
What is it?
So he said we can say fuck white people, but we have to live in their world, and we can't make them feel uncomfortable, because when they feel threatened and uncomfortable, they get violent. Then he said somebody blocked him on Facebook. I don't know who blocked him on Facebook. Who blocked him, brother?
Maybe Facebook did. Sometimes they don't like certain words and shit.
Yeah.
Hey, Deion, let me make it clear, man. I didn't. Let me make it clear. I didn't say fuck white people. I said fuck what white people think about us. We can't worry about what motherfuckers think about us. It ain't none of our business anyway.
But I do think you got to know about it, though. I think you have to be aware of what they think about you.
Well,
you have to pay attention to their how they moving on us. And because if they say these motherfuckers is dogs, go kill them, I don't want to be like, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know they was at us like that. I want to pay attention.
I said fuck what they think about us.
Right, I'm saying I think it's important that we know what they think about us.
We already know that.
You don't know until you know. Obviously, we all don't know because niggas run up. I try not to use that word on the show if you notice.
Okay.
I do it sometimes. I try not to. But you see, this is why you continuously see foundational Black Americans trying to cuddle up to whitey. Get all up under him. I feel safe and warm when I'm around him.
Hey, look, they worried about what white people think about us.
Well,
that's they trying to cuddle up to him.
He said that his comment was against the community standards. That's what I get for using Facebook. But you know what,
man, that Facebook ain't
if you made that comment on our YouTube page, you wouldn't have got banned. So that's an indicator, y'all. Go subscribe to the YouTube page, right? You will have to. They get your ass on YouTube too, though. They ain't playing with
I don't know.
No, they get you. They get you.
But again, to what he said, and he absolutely right. I'm definitely not agreeing with any of the brothers. It's like, yes, they do get violent. We got Rosewood to remind us of that shit. We got Chicago. We got Black Wall Street. They get violent whether there's good times, bad times, whether they feeling themselves, not feeling themselves. They just get violent. So because we know this, again, channel that into preparation. Like again, you know what? Real shit is gonna sound funny. I'm about to download the Boy Scout handbook just so I know how to start fires, tie knots, set snares, just basic ass shit that we done got conned out of knowing. Most of us, if they shut the lights off today and empty the stores, we ass out. So put your energy into that. Learning how to first sustain yourself.
Real. I feel like you're kind of downplaying the human's instinct to survive, because you got to believe and you got to know. If
niggas will survive for a second by
snap goes off right now.
Yeah.
People aren't going to die out. They're going to find a way to survive.
No, they're
people didn't have no choice but to forage, and they were discovering.
But you have to know what to forage, Kev. Otherwise, you dead as fuck.
You'll find out.
I got some berries on my bush in my front. Right.
Learning more.
Every nigga I ask this question, because like I said, a lot of my friends used to be uber militant and shit. Nigga, we need you just blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, do you know how to produce? If you don't know how to produce shit, go sit your ass down and figure that out first. Because what happens, we can raid the grocery stores and take food from other people that get it. Okay, yeah, and eventually that shit is gonna run out if you don't know how to
Where you
produce
gonna
shit.
put it? You ain't got no electric. You ain't got
How
no
you
refrigerator.
gonna get your diabetic medicine?
Right, but every time I
What
talk
you
to
gonna do? What you gonna do when they stop giving out the diabetic medicine?
You
right,
gonna
first go vegan and
die
get
or
your
Or
health
the
figure it out.
high
right.
blood pressure medicine, or
Right.
whatever else kind of medicine that you need to live.
See, and that's the
You know what
thing.
I mean? We need to learn more.
We quick
We
to
need
try
to
to
up on the
fight
game.
when most of us are half crazy with a foot in the grave. Most of us can't run 3 blocks. Well, I guess I'll just say me. I can't run 3 blocks without getting fucking winded. So I'm not talking all this military shit right now. I'm gonna get my mind right, then I'm gonna get my health right. I'm gonna learn how to produce shit. I'm going to learn what herbs I can eat, what herbs heal sickness and disease. You got to be self-sufficient because you can't. Man, I work for the state, G. Every call, I get calls back to back. Hey, I'm calling. I'm homeless right now, and I need to re-up my food stamps. Are you homeless, G? I hear a whole family behind you, but it ain't my business. Let me just process your application. So and so many people are dependent on this shit that's one of the other reasons we can't ever come together. Because if somebody say fuck the system, another person gonna say, hey man, I need my Medicaid.
I believe black people are stuck up with each other because you got people who say like what you saying right now. You know what that sounds like to somebody else? That sounds like you talking
Bootstraps up and shit, they need to pull themselves up. I'm
No,
not
it
saying
sounds
that.
like you talking down to him, and this is what I'm saying. This is the driver of the conversation when we're talking about criticism and we're talking about blacklash and backlash and all these kinds of
Right,
hooligans.
and I'm not talking down.
Oh,
I'm
Hey,
just
but you know
stating.
what? A
I'm
motherfucker
stating
will.
facts.
People,
How can you bite the hand that feeds you? And just my everyday experience, out of 50 calls, at least 50% of those is And I don't fault you. If you need help, you need help. Get that shit. If you doing what you got to do to get help, whether you need it or not, get that shit. I'm not faulting you. All
man,
I'm saying,
listen. If
all
me
I'm pointing
telling you
out
what I
is
feel like is best, if me telling you what I feel like is best for you is making you feel offended, you might need that. That
use
might
that
be
anger and
the
get
problem right
educated.
there. You know
Just
what I mean?
channel
Because
the
see, I
anger
talk to people. Let me
productively.
tell you, I talk to people about this. Somebody may call me and ask me how can they do something about their high blood pressure, right? And I may tell them, okay, first off, you may want to stop doing this or stop doing that. And they be, oh no, I can't
No,
stop doing
fuck
that.
you,
Fuck
man.
that.
I ain't
No,
about to
because
stop eating
you
pork.
know what I mean. So a motherfucker will start fighting you right away. And I'm telling you something that's finna help you.
Right.
And you know what I mean. And it's crazy how a motherfucker will fight you for that.
There's a
So
yeah.
if I'm hearing this correctly, what Kamar just said is if I tell you how I feel and it offends you, you might need that, correct?
If I'm telling you what may help you and it
Okay.
offends you, you may need that still,
But
right?
but is that not still
Or
your
should I not
opinion?
help you if it offends you?
Is that not your opinion of what you think they should do? That's your opinion, correct?
Right,
What you think they should do,
right,
right? So
right.
it's basically if I tell you my opinion, I'm trying to help you. That's my intention. But if I tell you my opinion
If
and
you,
you get offended, you might need it. So
you
my
still may
opinion
need it.
of
Just
Kanye's shirt was that's some cool shit and it needs to be said as opposed to fuck that, I ain't gonna pay attention to it, I ain't gonna say nothing about it. It need to be said to him so he'd be offended and turn that shit up. I mean, he
And
ain't gonna
that's
do it.
cool too.
that's cool
Yeah.
too.
If
Right.
you
But
get to
it
Kanye
ain't no
and tell
reason
him
for
fuck him,
motherfuckers
that's
to be
cool.
going back and forth, and because a lot of people can't have disagreements, disagree on opinions, and still be cordial afterwards. Everybody can't
Right.
do that. You know what I mean? So
Damn.
like when we got a lot of brothers who doing that
Right.
out here, now they banging on each other over some little
Right.
dumb shit.
Because opinions differ. So you a threat now. You a op now because we can't agree that blue is the best color and shit.
And something as simple as that to elevate into name calling, into disrespectful shit. You know what I mean? Because a motherfucker don't know how to control their emotions.
I remember I seen two brothers get into a fight. You got me trying not to say nigga, man. Shit. I see I seen
Foundation
two
of Black Americans.
I seen two brothers get
Foundation
into
of
a
Black
fight
Americans. Yes.
in middle school. They got into a fight in middle school and was not allowed to walk across the 8th grade stage over the motherfucking CD of whether ATLians was better than Nas Illmatic. These motherfuckers, and they still cool today, so I ain't
They
gonna
was
say
in
these
eighth
motherfuckers.
grade. They were
But
in
what
eighth
I'm saying,
grade, though.
but a lot of people, I mean, just go to the barbershop today and you see niggas about to fight over 2 basketball players that don't know they exist, making a shitload more money than they ever see.
Yeah.
And motherfuckers ready to come to blows
The
because
LeBron and MJ argument.
right. or the you better
Tupac
not
versus
say
Biggie.
nothing about Hove.
Yeah,
Hove is
Tupac
the
and Biggie.
greatest.
That's
You know,
shit. I
right?
bet you a bunch of motherfuckers
I,
gonna
I
fought
used to
over that one.
I used to get that kicked off by talking about Obama in the barbershop because I used to love his, you got me saying it, real. I used to love to see brothers. You see how that shit? One word, right? But I used to like to enjoy seeing brothers get upset because I would criticize Obama. And I used to do it because I wanted people to be aware of what was going on with him. It wasn't like I didn't like him. I
Yeah,
voted
yeah,
for him twice.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wasn't saying kill him or assassinate him. I was pointing out the truths.
Right.
His administration saying, man, tell me. And this was what used to really kill brothers when I used to say, tell me what he's doing. When he can't do nothing, he can't do it. And when I would say, no, well,
Right.
tell me when he proposed something. Give me an example of what he proposed that was
Right.
groundbreaking that they
Right.
turned down. And I'll say, oh, I will be that much more enlightened. Brothers didn't have that info.
Well, a
So
lot of
they
people
get pissed.
feel
Man,
threatened.
you, what kind of nigga is you? And
Right.
it turns
Pe-
into like, whoa.
People feel threatened when you ask them to explain themselves. Motherfucker, who is you? I gotta explain myself to. When if they think about it, hey, this is how you get an understanding. Like, and even with my friends, even if I agree with you, fam, I'm gonna play devil's advocate to help you. It's almost like a mental spar. So that because iron sharpens iron. I like for niggas around me to be able to explain their stance on shit, and it ain't just well, I'm going this way because everybody else think that shit. No, I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, family, why you think that way?
But
Okay,
regardless of what people think, there's always a winner. There's always a winner. And I say,
in a what? In a
it,
debate or
in the debate when brothers go at it and joust verbally, there's always somebody who is able to articulate their points and stand on what they believe, and they
yeah.
considered the whole thing over somebody who
And
is of limited knowledge trying to
and the
spar.
other person usually get loud
So,
and mad because they
right.
can't.
So we talk about levels. How we talk about is levels to understanding. So if you run up against the wrong
Right,
motherfucker, you think you in there dropping knowledge, and he turn around and be like, well, actually, bong 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 da 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 bong bong bong, and you don't got no
right,
nothing to cut you. Oh, now I whoop your motherfucking ass, Mister Know It All, motherfucker.
right,
You think you a
right.
professor or something, nigga? You went to weed college, nigga? It's like,
They
Hopefully, you got
ego
enough
got hurt.
emotional intelligence. Hopefully, you got enough emotional intelligence to bow out the conversation gracefully.
yeah, you better
See,
recognize.
and I used to tell
Before
people,
you get to the point where you get mad and start wanting you ready to fight and all that shit.
right. Like,
That's
even though I don't subscribe, like I still use the Bible to teach people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they may need. So even though I don't subscribe to it being the holy, inspired, and valuable word of God anymore, it still has jewels, which is but sanctify the Lord in your heart, always being ready to give reason for the hope that is within you with fear and meekness, meaning that always be ready to say why you move the way you move. No, you don't owe that to that motherfucker, but you never know. By you being able to articulate your move, you might help somebody else out of darkness.
Right.
So it ain't me getting offended. Oh, nigga, I ain't got to explain shit. No, okay, brother, I love educating, and because I love you, I will not allow you to sit in your ignorance if I have the means to give you something that may help. It is nothing, it don't make me small to explain myself to somebody. A lot of times when I open my mouth, my biggest hater become my biggest fan.
I'm glad it works out for you in that regard, because it don't always work out that way. And like Kamar said, sometimes you just got to know the room. You got to know your audience.
Right.
And if you really have a gift of discernment, you better be, because first of all, there's rules to being a
Right.
person who's outspoken and somebody who's going to go and engage in these debates. You have to actually absolutely know your surrounding. Like, I'm not
Right.
going to go into a hostile place where I know people are already at my ass and start talking shit.
Right.
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 I say this is not a safe space, right? This ain't Outlaw Radio. You can't go in this. I'm in my barbershop where I've been going for 20 some odd years, and I'm familiar with, most of the cats who come in there. We all know each other. We can get into some spirited debates. Like I've seen, like you were talking about, I think Kamar said the Jordan versus LeBron thing in the barbershop, where one time it got really, really, really heated to the point where it turned into one brother saying, you can't even guard me. Right. And I'm like, oh shit, trigger word. Right. And then oh, he said he, and then it turned into, how we get to play. He said he'd do it, he put his nuts all in your face. And this dude get madder and madder and madder to the point where he wanted to fight the dude until the dude looked at him and said, I didn't say none of that shit. As a matter of fact, if you'd asked me, I can't even hoop. So you goddamn right I can't guard you. But I know all about the NBA because I've been watching it my whole life. And then everybody came back down like he didn't ever say he could,
See?
Dude was over there, but he was mad.
Dog.
Right, motherfuckers was dancing around and shit like,
Right.
Like, whoa.
And you do got to know your audience. Like I tell people, like even now, I don't debate. Like I tell people, when I was ignorant, I argued. When I was arrogant, I debated. But now that I'm wise, I just like to discuss and hear why you think the shit you think. I ain't gonna say whether it's wrong or right. I just, oh damn, why you think that way, kid? Oh, okay, I don't agree, but I can see why you think that way. Okay,
see,
cool.
When a motherfucker start doing that to me, I feel like he's patronizing me.
No, man, some people don't want to argue. They just want to understand it.
If I'm in a discussion with somebody and they go into therapist mode on me, I'm not fucking with that. Oh, that's cool, Kev. I understand. But just now, how do you feel? I'll be like, I'm cool on you, bro.
Hey, but you know what? That stuff like questions like that, it may make a motherfucker feel like that, but really that helps with understanding people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because see,
and we trying to elevate each other.
You can't get mad at what you know. Like if I understand you and I understand why you think like you think, I can't get mad at you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Once again, I think when you play, because a lot of us, especially, if you got mouthpiece, and this is for individuals who got the gift, and it's a blessing and a curse. Because a lot of times, if you got the gift of gab, you know how to fuck with people. And my wife tells me all the time, Kevin, you will antagonize the shit out of somebody and be laughing at them, and that causes a reaction in some people. Because I've done it before, where they're trying their best to win the argument, so they saying everything they can loud as fuck, and they just and I'll just pick two things and say, and repeat that and say, do you hear how dumb that shit sounds? And everybody will laugh. And now this person's upset, right? So now I got you on the ropes. Now I'm finna just Muhammad Ali you. And it's something that I do upstairs intentionally. So a lot of people who know and they can really, speak well, they'll fuck with your head. And they'll play like, man, I'm just trying to enlighten you, brother.
See, right? I used real shit. That's where growth comes in. Like, cause like you said, I used to enjoy looking like the innocent one. So I could fucking ginsu a nigga's mind and have him run up. So now I can whoop his ass and be like, you see that teacher? He ran up on me. But that was the old shit. That now with growth, all I'm concerned about is us both getting an understanding. And even earlier today, if I made somebody feel like I was offended or if I offended anybody else in the audience, I apologize. This is all love. I deal with knowledge. And I like to challenge people to just the whole slavery thing. I mean, I respect anybody who feel it wasn't a choice, because for you it wouldn't have been. Because in order for you to have a choice, you need to be aware that one exists.
Right.
So like I said, whether you feel you can or you can't, I'm going to say you absolutely fucking right, G. And walk your path.
Yeah. I hope nobody was offended by that, because they had your understanding is your understanding. And like I say, that's one way to look at it. You could say that, but I think the way it was enforced upon us and the way we were, it was almost like a culture.
It was
So, and perfect example, I just had this conversation last night with my partner. Shout out to Westside Zeladon. He is from California. He's from South Central California. Yeah. And when I first met him, he used to tell me stories about Crips and Bloods in California, right? And talk about gangbanging. And I used to say, man, that's like the dumbest shit ever. Like, it's stupid, right? And he would say to me, it's a culture. You don't understand. And I said, that's not a culture. Let me tell you what culture is. Until I learn more about how it is when you grow up in South Central Los Angeles.
Some of them niggas might have to join the gang.
It is a culture. It absolutely is not. I'm just not gonna do that. It envelops you. It envelops entire neighborhoods, and it's a cultural thing out there. So what I'm saying is I get what you're saying, but when I look at the slave thing, something that was perpetuated for 400 years, it wasn't a choice. It was enforced so harshly that the only alternative you had most of the now, if you didn't get away, like you said, you just so happened to outrun them hounds. Use a story to be told, but the majority of those individuals that anything were killed instantly.
I mean, just think about that.
And they understood that though. They knew that was going to happen.
The other day, you told us about a zip code that had like the highest felons or some shit.
Recidivism, so 53206.
Okay, so even with that, if you look at that, you can say, well, shit, they ain't have a choice in felonies, because according to their zip code, they is just, what I'm saying? And again, it also goes to the fact that not only it's fucked up, but sometimes you gotta look at history and say it's and be willing to accept fucked up shit. Like not only was slavery a choice, there were free black people or Moors or whatever you want to call them in America that chose to leave those people in that state or condition. So but
My skin crawls
no
every time you say it
no
was a choice.
different than today. We
You
not
keep doing it.
storming
You're
we,
needling me.
we
You
not
ain't
storming the
recognizing me
prison
right
systems now to break people out of
now.
prison.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
slavery. I don't. You can't compare it to nothing today because we haven't seen anything of the like. In
Yeah,
our,
I mean, and
it's
you're right.
several hundred years away from it, and so I think for us to look back now and say that, like I used to always throw rocks at civil rights workers, not literally, not
Oh, okay.
not
I'm like,
literally,
damn. Okay.
metaphorically.
Yeah, kid.
Like, damn, you can't just let them think
You
anything.
threw a rock at Medgar Evers? What the fuck is you doing? What
You're
I'm
on
Ah,
saying,
Outlaw
nah.
Radio. Anything you say.
no, I'm saying I used to be really critical of them. I used to say, man, they should have done this and they should have done that and they should have done this until an older black man gave me perspective on it. And he says, well, yeah, you say that now because we managed to move forward a little bit in terms
Right.
of our mentality and our perspective. But you had to understand during those times,
That was just the way shit was.
drilled into your
Yeah.
head as a little child, here's the rules. And he said, I
Right.
remember my grandmother telling me
Right.
very vividly, this is what you say, this is what you do, and this is how we're going to survive this. And so
Right.
it wasn't, he said, I didn't choose to be that. And as soon as I got old enough, I was gone. But the fact of the matter is, for so many years of my life, there was no alternative. There was no
Right.
other option
That's
for
how
me.
religion was put into us.
But that's like anything else. When you lack the knowledge of an option, that just like when we go back to the grasshopper shit. Yeah, all them grasshoppers say we can only jump this high. There's a lid that you bump your head on. Like the lid could have been removed, and they could have hopped the fuck out, but they've been conditioned, like you said, to this is their normal, this is their reality.
I think they
But
hated
just
it, but I think they just felt like, but this is the way things
get
are.
along. I mean, yeah, that was just it. Like you talking about just like now, if a person say, "Hey, man, I'm about to quit my job and become a millionaire," somebody gonna say, "You think you could do that? Who's you think you is to be quitting your job?"
Not
And,
in the same context
and I
as
mean,
slavery,
it's
though.
just when you can't visualize or
That's apples and
fathom,
oranges. That's
like
apples.
when you can. Well, what I'm saying is this: when your vision has just this in front of you, you absolutely right. You can't see the forest for the trees, but that don't negate the fact that there are trees behind there that just may be out of your awareness.
I
So
think
yeah,
I think that's
they
a
were beat and
quarterback.
broken and trained into being slaves. And yes, it's just the way thing is. I was born into it. My grandma was born into it. So I understand what you're saying. Yeah, we're not saying different shit. I
If
understand.
I got control over your every, I mean, from even the way you even see the world, like if I, it's like taking a baby and raising that baby, isolated from society, and you train
Mhm.
that baby from day one. This is what you do. This is how you survive. This is how you live. This is how it is. That baby has not chosen to be in that situation. That's what life dealt him. And when he gets older, like I said, if he says, nah, you know what? I'm about to go a different way, and he does that, then he's making a choice. But while he was under this system, he wasn't saying,
Right.
the slaves wasn't saying, well, it's bad, but we choose to stay here. They didn't choose it. It was the way it was. I feel like whenever we compare with something from today, right? It's like
Yeah.
we compare slavery with shit from nowadays. Like, so if you got to choose between Instagram and Twitter, you comparing
Now
Instagram
I
and
feel what you said, and
slavery. Talking
that's
about
that's where it come in
antebellum
that the knowledge.
slavery.
Yeah, no, and I understand, and you absolutely right. They can't want different or believe they can have different until they know there is a difference. So I mean that is the fact of the matter.
I just don't think we keep the perspective in context of what they actually were dealing with. It's very easy for a Negro, for a Negro in 2022 to say this or that, right? Like so, and I think that's easy. I think that's the
Do you
easiest way.
believe Nat Turner felt it was a choice? Do you believe Nat Turner felt he didn't have a choice?
I believe Nat Turner was as mad as everybody else around him, but he chose to do something about it. And
Chose.
I think, but he didn't choose to be a
You
slave.
said chose,
He
Kevin.
didn't choose to be a slave. He chose to rebel against it.
So you can only
He
choose
didn't
to
choose.
rebel.
He
You
wasn't
don't choose
choosing
to
to be a
slave.
slave.
No, but just like Kamar said, if he chose to remain, he didn't choose to remain a slave once he had the
But
knowledge
he
of.
was a slave, though. He was a slave for a long time. He wasn't
And he
choosing. He
chose.
was
He
dealing
chose.
with it.
He chose to not remain a
He
slave.
made up his mind that he was going to do something else, right?
Right. That
But
was a
that takes a
choice.
choice. That's a choice.
What they did to him was they skinned him alive and killed
Yeah.
about 300 more black people.
Well, you
Yeah,
knew
So
that would possibly
that
happen.
lets
yeah,
that
they
turns
boiled
to
them,
you
ate
niggas
them,
to say,
all kind of shit.
y'all better not do that shit.
It
And
still
so
was a choice. It's a
it's
choice
more,
most people
it's
don't
the
want to
same
make.
thing. I don't think just because he
It's a
rebelled don't mean
choice.
he chose to be a slave. I don't believe
It's
that.
No,
a
he
choice
didn't
most
choose to be
people
a
don't want
slave.
to make.
He chose to fight for his freedom.
Right, that's
Unfortunately, it didn't.
two different things, though. I choose
Oh.
versus choosing to be a slave versus okay, I'm finna
No,
rebel.
ain't nobody signed up to be a slave. I ain't saying that.
I know. I said I
No.
think they're two different things.
And that's why I said
Um,
to be taken into bondage wasn't a choice,
right.
but to remain was.
Slavery wasn't a choice. They didn't have the option of saying, "I'm not working in the field today." Yeah, right. They would
Yeah,
have
they did. They would have got killed, but they had that
had
option.
their foot chopped off, whipped, or hung. Also, remember they was brung from Africa and didn't know this country or even the language for a while.
A lot of people escaped and got and pulled into the indigenous cultures, and so a lot of people did exercise that choice, and they did get away, and now we're just considered Indians.
I think
But
there's
I
always
mean,
the exception to the rule. I think
oh
because
yeah, most definitely. But we
Michael
can't
Jackson went
say
solo from Joe Jackson, but he was the only Jackson brother that left. So how
right.
bad was it? They chose to be
But
Jacksons.
but it shows it's not impossible. Even everything she listed was fucked up.
You
It was
choose
fuck.
to run or you
I'm
choose to
not
stay.
saying. I'm not saying it wasn't fucked up, but getting the foot chopped off or hung is a consequence of exercising your choices.
Right. You choose to
So
run or you
it's still
choose to
that's
stay.
like as fucked up as it is. If somebody had a gun to your head and said push that button or die, one person gonna say I had to push the button or he was gonna kill me. The other person's gonna look him in the eye, spit, and say "fuck you, dog." I'm going out at least by my choice, and it's a fucked up. I mean,
It's a
just
fucked up
because
choice.
there's a
It's a
fucked up
choice that
choice
most
don't mean
humans
there's
don't want to have to make.
yeah. Just because the choice fucked up don't mean the choice is absent.
Once again, I
Right.
think it's easy now to say that. I think it's much easier to say it now, and I also believe that if you get to a point where it's like because we did this show on people who are abused, right?
I mean, I might press the button, so
So,
I'm not saying I'm
we did
Billy
this.
Badass.
We did this
Right.
show. We did this show
Right.
about
Let's make
people
that
who
clear.
we did this show about people who've been abused. And so with your line, with what y'all saying, y'all line of thinking is if a person is abused for so long and then finally one day they run away, that person they chose to be abused. They didn't.
No,
They
they
chose
chose
to
to
stop
run.
it.
No, they chose to
Chose to
run
stop
from
it.
it and
It came
tell.
a point in
Yes.
time.
So,
It came a point in time where they said, "You know what? I'm tired of this shit. I'm out of here."
right, but
Right.
the
They
whole
said this is not a desirable condition.
they weren't
Let me
choosing to be
figure
a
out how
victim of
I can
anybody.
change my condition.
They didn't
And
choose to be
if I
abused.
run, they might kill me.
They didn't choose to be abused. They didn't have a say so in the matter. It was what it
We ain't
was.
saying that.
When they got to the point where they said I had
No,
enough,
no, we ain't.
I would
We
say
ain't
that's
saying
what it
that,
was.
We
Derek.
But I don't think
yes, that's the
to
choice.
say
But
slavery was a choice. I just think it's an inaccurate statement. I think he should have said freedom was a choice that we wasn't choosing. But slavery was
You
absolutely
said
not.
I
choose
mean,
again. You
okay,
just
then
said
what's the
choose again.
other choice? What's the other choice? If freedom was a choice that we wasn't choosing, what were we choosing?
We wasn't choosing
But
shit.
it's
We
still
slaves. We didn't have no
The
control
word is
over
choose.
nothing.
but I'm saying if
Before
you
you said
saying
I'm
that
leaving,
freedom was a choice that we wasn't
we
choosing,
wasn't.
what was the other option?
I
There
ain't the
was no other
smartest
option.
apple. I ain't the smartest apple, right, by far. So I'm gonna ask y'all a question.
You
For
said the
sure, G.
smartest
Choosing
apple. Are
choice.
apples
I
smart? I
wanna.
don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know what to say. Like I don't know how to
Right,
say it.
right.
That's my point. Hey, that's my point. Right?
Motherfucker always fucking with
So
somebody.
now let me continue. Now let me continue. Okay, so like, okay, we keep saying the word choose. Okay, choose is like an active word for choice, right? Like I'm actively making a choice. I'm choosing. They go together, right?
I don't think so.
Choose and choice, like you choose. And I'm making a okay. I have two choices here.
I don't
Let
think
me choose which one. Hold on, Kev. Check this out. I got two choices. Let me choose which one.
Okay, the reason I say I don't think they're the same thing because to say choice means you have options.
Right.
Right. And to say choose means
two.
you have a definitive stance on it. And I don't think
got two
black people
choices.
had an option about whether or not they could be slaves. Because even if
You
they
choose the option out of your choices.
ran away, they were still slaves. Because even if you got away and went up north, you could still be captured and taken back to the south. So it wasn't you still was a slave. It was just like I was trying to do something about it. It wasn't like okay, as long as I stay here, I'm choosing to be a slave. No, I need to figure out what I can do about this.
Okay, I got two options. One option is run away, possibly get caught and killed. Another option is to stay here. Which one do I choose to do?
I don't think
those are my two choices.
No. I hear what you're saying, Kamar, but I'm saying I feel like their predicament wasn't a choice because they never chose to do it. It was never, they never had an option. I think they got to a point where they said, I'm gonna run away. But so once again, I think saying that slavery was a choice is the incorrect way.
So you saying he should have chose better words?
I think he should have worded it better.
Like, so he should have said to remain a slave was a choice. It was their choice to remain a slave.
We can say that. To remain a slave. There you go. To remain,
and it's not a bad choice. Ain't nobody faulting them for making that choice. A lot of us today, we would have made the choice. He was just bringing the same thing. He even said a lot of people choose to work a 9 to 5 a day. Hell, I work a 9 to 5 a day because it's like, shit, I got kids, man. I need this insurance. Somebody back then probably like, shit, I got kids, man. Shit, I don't want my foot to get
chopped off. I got to go to the juke joint Friday night. ENC Jordan said, I see what Rail is saying, but I can't agree. Nat is one guy for a reason. Totally. It's only one Nat.
Right.
He ain't the only one who did let a revolt, though.
Well, yeah, in America, I think I don't know. I don't know of any other slave who, and I don't know. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. So my motherfucker jump out the tree and be, Akimbe Jabambu did it in 1645 in Ohio. I'm saying that's the one that we know the most about. I don't, and I know there have been other ones in other places.
Right.
But I'm talking about America. She said, Rail and Kamar, you two are correct. They could have rebelled, and if they did, we wouldn't be here today, correct?
I can't say that's correct because that's assuming they would have lost. My people, shit. Right. You know, you ever heard about the nigga that commandeered the Civil War boat,
the black dude,
and went and freed them motherfuckers? Like, so, I mean, I'm not saying, look, I may have still been here. I may have been here in a different form.
Why wouldn't you make that movie?
They're not gonna give you that movie, man.
Why? They're not gonna give you that movie. Now, why instead of the Woman King? Why wouldn't you make that movie instead of the Woman King? I'm just saying, you know.
Because it shows America failing. It shows America losing. The same way they don't let you see kingpins go legit and still live the life. But I mean, so there's people who succeeded. They're few and far in between. But the fact that they succeeded shows that it was a possibility if that choice was exercised.
So you talking about the exception, not the norm. You're saying you talking about the exception, not the norm.
Right, but the exception shatters the argument that there was no choice.
I don't agree with that. I think because the exceptions were wiped out. That's why they was few and far between. Because slavery kept rolling through all of those exceptions, and it got worse. As a matter of fact, it was heavily enforced. They figured out every time they tried, they figured out more shit and more ways,
and they made more laws. Right.
So
the people who were still there.
Right. Well, the majority of I hear you saying some people made it, but that's like saying some people won the lottery. Some people got drafted to the NFL. Right. That's not the norm. Yeah. That's the exception to the rule. It
definitely ain't the norm.
So when we talk about 400 years of people, and you take a snapshot of a few people who did revolts versus all the people who were just murdered and wasn't even doing shit. They wasn't even rebelling.
I mean,
just go make a point. How many black people they killed just to make a point because of what Nat Turner did?
Yeah, because out of fear. Yeah, most definitely.
So then you could blame the people who was with him for saying, "Oh, it's not his fault that it didn't work. It's to scare black people around him because they chose to be slaves."
A
but they
lot
were
of
slaves.
times it was the motherfucker in the field telling about the uprising. So again, I mean, it's splitting hairs and the
Man,
sticky wicket, but
wicked.
most rebellions failed because of it wasn't the house nigga telling on the field. It was the field nigga telling on the field. The
Right.
house nigga didn't know what was
Trying
going
to
on
get
in the
in the
field.
house.
House nigga told a lot
Right.
too though. House
Nigga
nigga
trying
told a
to get
lot
in the
too though.
house. And
House
he ain't
nigga
gonna
told a
never
lot
make it.
too though. House nigga told a
Shit.
lot. Don't get it twisted. He told
Oh
he
yeah,
talked.
I
definitely.
mean, he may have, but there was also house niggas that was poisoning their masters, so their masters would remain sick and couldn't get out to the field. So I mean, there like you said, there's exceptions to everything. Every house nigga wasn't no Sambo.
Oh, whoa. Okay. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one.
There were, I mean, just
They
like
didn't
you
have a
said, like
choice. They
a
didn't have a
lot,
choice
right?
but to be
A
a
lot
house
of
nigga.
times a house nigga, right? A lot of times because that was master's child,
Right. Well,
or it was a mammy who he wanted to keep around so he could fuck on. Like my last name Jefferson, G. We already know about his
Jefferson
little
G.
12-year-old,
Is that the
you
last
know,
name? Jefferson G.
not Jefferson, but I don't know. Thomas Jefferson might be in my bloodline, and we
You
know
might
how he
be.
fucked on
They
that
might
poor
owe you some
child. You know
money.
what I'm
They might
saying?
owe y'all some money.
Man,
Listen.
I need to look
Uh,
into that
uh,
shit then.
here, here's where it gets crazy at. Everybody has a perspective, and I think we lose sight of the fact that everybody deserves to have one. So we get to the
Right.
point where we start to believe our own hype because I know what I'm saying. I know the truth, and in some aspects you probably do. But it gets to the point when we make assumptions about things that we have no understanding of that it becomes kind of fucked up because for a person today to even consider or even speak on what happened to those people who were in bondage, especially in the South in America, I just think it's out of order. I think for people in 2022 to even say I woulda, they shoulda, we coulda, I'm like, boy, you
I
talking to
ain't
you
saying none of that shit. I'm
because
just saying
you have no
people.
understanding of what was going on. You don't even understand. Listen, the world has changed so much from the 40s and 50s that as a person of color right now, I have no idea what it was like. And you get that when you talk to elders. That's why I'm trying to bring elders on so
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
give us some perspective on this to say, nah, I hear what y'all saying, but this is how cold it was in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s.
Oh
Because
yeah,
my mom
yeah. No,
said all the
I
time,
used
like,
to talk to my grandfather, my teacher, Miss Neighbors,
oh no,
fifth
mean
grade
that.
teacher,
She
my
talked to
fifth
people.
grade teacher, Miss Neighbors. Yeah,
Her
I
mean
love
that.
talking.
She was
I
mean as
love
hell.
talking to older people. Dude, Miss Neighbors was, man, a beautiful soul. And
She
she
hated.
used and she used to tell us, like, yeah, her husband, whenever he seen his friends, they used to have like a joke, like, how many bells could you pick? Like, that's how they used to like greet each other. You know what I'm saying? Because they both grew up picking cotton still. Even so I was able to get, like, my grandfather used to tell us how his they was in Fayette, Alabama, and the white people didn't like his family because my great 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 grandfather had, I guess he was rich and he had a nice carriage. They hated him for the carriage. It was times he had to come out on the porch with his gun with a clan full of white motherfuckers at his porch. They trying to find reasons to take his land and his carriage. So we used to hear about all that shit.
Right. It's horror stories. That's what I'm saying. That's what
Shit,
I'm
I wonder
saying
if I
right
got
now.
some
I don't,
land
I
down
don't
there.
think
That's
we
what.
just, I don't even think that's what I'm saying. With all those stories, I've heard them so much that's why I stopped really criticizing about what they should have done. That kind of
Oh,
enlightened me
I
to
ain't
say,
criticizing or
no,
saying
I'm
they
saying
should have
myself.
ran off.
I was.
Okay.
And people now always talking out their ass about what they would have done. I remember cats just from shit that happened in the streets 20 years ago. And I'll be talking to somebody and they'll say, well, I would have done this. And I'm thinking, you wouldn't have done shit. You wasn't
Right,
there. You
right,
wasn't there. You have no idea what was going on.
right.
You wouldn't have done a damn thing. You'd have done just like the rest of us and try to figure out a way around that shit. You wouldn't have
Man,
been
shit.
oh, I would have. No, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done it. So I mean, it's always, I would say if my auntie had balls, she'd have been my uncle, right? Like, and that's just what it's about. If I was there, I would have. If we don't know, and this is why it's
And if
important.
if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk.
Right, all that, and that's why I say when I start talking about we need to just let some shit go and move on because some shit we just don't have
Yeah.
no understanding of. We just don't. It'd be different if we can go get somebody who actually lived in slavery and they could break down the systematic nature of how they cut you off at every move. Even when you was trying to rebel, it was
Oh
like
yeah,
boom,
yeah.
like it was a impossible task almost. And so those that got away were very fortunate and very blessed. But the norm was this is how they got us. We got to figure out a way around this shit. So
Right.
I agree with both of y'all in saying it shouldn't be something you see somebody else do that gets you to the point where you salty. Like you mad. Like
Right.
again, I'm
Right.
never mad when I see a Sambo on the internet or on TV.
Right.
I ain't
Right.
mad like that motherfucker just I just
He
recognize and say,
set us
what
back
the
100
fuck here?
years.
Well, he does. He does because it becomes infectious. You know what I mean? And I mean, you think about the fact that this brother, we in just a flash on Kanye, he's reinstituted slave clothing. Like he wants. This is the thing. How many years did we battle? I don't want to look like that. I don't want to. I don't. And people say clothes don't matter, but it do when you walk around with holes all in your shit and you dirty. That matters. So he's
I ain't
reinstituted.
seen no black people in his clothes though.
I think
Maybe
people wait.
that's his weird, brilliant plan to make white people dress like slaves or something.
Maybe
I don't
so.
know.
Right.
Like,
Maybe that's
but that's what he
Hey, I
said
never
before
thought
about
of
the
that,
shirt.
man. That's a good one because you're
Like
right. Man, I never
Kanye,
saw black people wearing his
Kanye,
clothes.
I have.
look,
I still
Kanye,
wear.
That
Kanye getting
slave
rich
looking
off of
shit.
white people buying his shit. So maybe this is like a secret fuck you inside joke that he has. Like, yeah, I got them in destitute or whatever the shit was called, destitute clothing. I got them, and they made me a billionaire buying this shit.
Straight up.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm just
a
not
lot
gonna
of
get mad at anything
if
he
you watch
do.
a lot of fashions, cats who really try to dress, and I'm more into my old man phase now where I'm in, a good button down, some slick shoes, and some good
Yeah,
stock
yeah,
khakis. So I'm not
yeah.
really I'm going into Bouchard's to get a fit for the club tonight. But a lot of the shit that they're wearing is torn and worn, and you'd be surprised. Some of that shit is Kanye shit. So
Mm.
and it doesn't have to be the extreme because there's extremities that you're right. I don't see black people
Right,
wear.
right.
Damn. But there's a lot of them where I notice like, oh, okay, they got holes or it's torn or it's worn or some shit like that. Um, I just feel like there should be some counterbalance to it. I believe like people should be able to call them out. I believe we should be able to and say it without being butt hurt because my butt ain't hurt,
Right.
but I'm still gonna say, look at
Right.
this Lambo ass motherfucker, right?
I
That
mean,
along with other things he's done.
yeah,
Um,
he do a lot of crazy shit, but he autistic. I told y'all before when I first got on the show, I believe Kanye West is autistic and did something snap when he lost his mama. He's a savant with music, but like you said, usually people who are extremely good in one thing are fucked up in
Yep.
most other
Hey,
aspects.
and a lot of time autistic kids are like that too.
yeah,
Right.
Like they
I
real
always told
genius.
y'all I think
Like
he
it's
on the
somewhere
spectrum.
it's a few areas where they geniuses in. You know what I'm
The
saying?
Asperger spectrum and shit.
And
I
and
don't
and you don't have to be full blown autistic to be
Right.
autistic.
I don't think
Right.
he's autistic. I think he had a nervous breakdown when his mom died because he was a mama's boy, and I think he
Yeah,
had an
that
Oedipus
too.
complex. I think he had an Oedipus complex, and I think that affected him too when his mama died.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I'm sitting up here prescribing him, and I don't know shit about shit. Yeah, this is what black people do. They turn psychological. Yeah.
Bro,
Asperger
psychology.
syndrome, cuz, right? What is that, cuz? Motherfucker. I love black.
Right.
I love us.
Right.
We get it in. Um, you gotta give us credit, man, because we don't gotta know a whole bunch of shit about something to talk about it. We'll go into it,
Right.
like, man, and then
It
we gotta
sounds
be cold,
confident as hell too.
right? But a black person so cold, they'll say this to you. Now, don't quote me on this because it might be wrong, and then they'll disagree with you. Like, what the fuck are you telling me if you know it might be wrong?
Right.
Right. I ain't for sure. But I think, look, you had me at I don't know for sure. Just stop right there. Like that don't stop us, man. They say we never let the truth stand in the way of a good story, man. Don't do that, man. That's some foundational Black American shit. Did either of y'all watch the BET Awards last night?
I saw some of it.
Okay.
Nah, man. I can't bring myself to watch that shit no more.
I'm so
Hey,
far off the
look,
loop.
they got a part. They had a part by the end of it, man. That was dope as fuck. They had all the old school motherfuckers come back on there, do their thing. You know, it was kind of like a versus with 3-6 Mafia on there. I think that all the old school motherfuckers. You know what I mean? You would have felt like it was a '90s BET show.
A concert? Oh, okay. Yeah, I find
Go
that
to
on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Go to YouTube.
Yeah,
You know how YouTube they do
right.
all the different clips through it. Yeah, go to YouTube because it
Yeah,
was some dope shit I felt like on
and
there, man. But
and
then
that's
it
what
was a
I'm
whole bunch
planning
of
to do
bullshit too. I
for
felt
sure.
like it was a light skin, dark skin thing going on with BT.
Huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I felt like it was a light skin, dark skin thing. With you know how we talk about the programming.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Okay, they got all the pretty yellow girls, high yellow girls on there singing with the long fake hair, the eyelashes, the bad bitch mentality and all that type of shit. You
Oh,
know
I
what I
see what you're
mean?
saying. Yeah, yeah.
And then like
Well,
when they represent a dark skinned woman, like it would be somebody who nobody knows. You know how they have motherfucker who they just have come on, they don't want a contest to come perform or something. You know, they
yeah.
had a couple of chicks like that, and they made them look silly, put them in a fucked up light. You know what I mean? I felt
Yeah,
like it was
they
some
did.
bullshit being played. You know what I mean? They had the LGBT shit going on, segment
You
with the
know,
modeling. You know what I mean? It was some bullshit. But like I say, they had a part in there that was for us.
right?
That
The
you know,
wannabes and the jigaboos
right. You know,
for
Yeah,
the
that's from
black
school
and
days, right?
silver.
but you gotta live through all the other bullshit to get to it.
For the black and silver.
She says, "Look, Kim did her messed up dance." I didn't. You know
Yeah.
what? I don't watch
Mental
awards.
illness. Mental
I
illness,
gave
man.
up on them. I gave up on them so long ago. I don't watch award shows, and with BET, when once it was sold, and I've seen what Viacom has done with
Right,
BET. I've
right.
kind of, I mean, my wife and I had this conversation a couple weeks ago, and I was saying, remember when BET was our go-to? Like it's you watched BET, and they had the news with Ed Gordon, and then they had Video Soul, and they had Rap City, and they had all this stuff, and it was good. But when you watch it now, you'd be like, like, nah, I'm finna turn from it. There's no real boundaries. I just think they just kind of took a lot of shit from the value of our culture and watered it down. But the LGBTQ thing for BET is so treacherous for me that it's hard for me to watch. It's hard for me to digest. I'm just like, okay, I get it. I get it. And with that said, I want to ask y'all about this too, because this is something else that's coming up that we're gonna have a nice discussion about. The Black Panther movie that's coming out. I'm saying right now, if they replace the Black Panther with a female, I'm not going to see the movie.
They, they did. They
I'm not
I
supporting it.
seen the
I'm not
titties.
going to see it. I think it's bullshit. I think it's some bullshit. And as a brother who grew up reading comic books and all of this, T'Challa didn't die.
That's
Chadwick
not
Boseman.
canon.
Chadwick
Oh,
Boseman
okay.
died. He's a person. He's a person who's real. T'Challa's fake. He died. You
Okay.
just recast another brother in the role. I think the fact that you make the Black Panther now a woman is an example of black emasculation. I think. I
Okay.
think.
See,
I think.
I didn't know it was whether it was canon or not. My cousin loved comic books, still got collections, and I never
Okay.
got off into it. So I was like, damn, did they ever in any alternate universe or anything have a
Even if they
woman?
did, it doesn't matter because they do that now because the comic book's been around 60 years. So you got to
Oh
keep
yeah,
new.
right, right. And they need new
But
storylines and
the Black
shit.
Panther is a black man in the
Okay.
books, and this
Okay.
is who he was, right? So for them now to say we're gonna take take a woman to show that women can be the Black Panther too, that's bullshit. What's the point of that? I don't
Mm.
feel like you need that. You put another black man in there, you keep it moving. Michael B.
See, I
Jordan should
seen
never come back
oh
to
my
be him.
bad.
So I'm not. I just want to throw that out there for the movie come out
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
and I don't know for sure that
See, I
that's
seen they was gonna
Dave
have like
Turner in it.
they was gonna have like Quetzalcoatl or not Quetzalcoatl, his other name,
Namor,
but
Prince
basically like
Namor.
yeah. And I just seen like the Mexican wardrobe or
Right,
South, and I
Aztec.
just like, oh shit, is this about to be some black on brown shit or
No, no, because they
so
come
I
from
didn't know if they
underwater.
was friends or not. Oh, okay.
No, they come from
Right.
Atlantis. Namor comes
No,
from it. They come from underwater.
they either
Yeah, I
got the
remember
Rock or a
Namor, the
motherfucker that looked
Submariner.
like Rock playing a superhero from Egypt.
You said they
Huh?
got what? Kamar?
A motherfucker like either the Rock or somebody who looked like the Rock playing a hero from
Oh, you
Egypt.
talking about Black
Black
Adam?
Adam. Black
Yeah,
Adam.
okay. There's
Ain't that one from Egypt or something like that? The
there's
mummy
some
or
I
in
something like
don't
his.
that?
know.
It's something about some gods. I think there's some Egyptian kind of thing in there, Kamar. I think you may be correct. He's
That
a
shit
DC. I
fire
was
too.
never into DC comics. I was always a Marvel dude. So I
I
didn't.
don't know. I just saw a clip
Oh,
of
okay.
it and I thought to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, a motherfucker from Egypt, he don't look like us. It's some
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's Black Adam is. There's some background to his
I
character
don't
about some
know.
gods or
I'm gonna
something.
have
I
to
don't
ask
know.
my cousin.
And his name Black Adam.
That's Black Adam. That's the name of the movie.
Damn, and they ain't got a black motherfucker playing them up.
Well, they say Rock is
I
blackish.
mean, you know, The
Dwayne,
Rock is
you got
he
Negro in it,
he got a black daddy. I mean,
right?
you know what's weird though? I done seen him do a haka at least 10 times. It's like,
I've
okay,
never
brother,
seen him do a haka.
yeah, he does hakas on every movie he on. You know, he always doing the slapping and stuff. It's like, okay, brother, we know you proud of your Polynesian heritage. But
I
do
kind of
anybody
go
know
back.
your daddy was Rocky Johnson? Like his
I
daddy
never,
was Rocky
I've never
Johnson.
seen him do that. I never. What movie? I've never
Uh,
seen him do a haka.
okay, one I can remember just offhand is the most recent Fast and Furious because they even went back to the islands and he got all his
Okay.
family with him.
Yeah, I don't watch
And they
that
do a
shit.
haka.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Shit in Be Cool, that's one of my favorite movies. That shit hilarious.
Be Cool
But
was a
in
good
Be
movie.
Cool, he man, that shit hilarious. But remember
Yeah,
at the end, he did the shit at the end of the movie
I can't
with
remember it now. See, it's so
with
long
his
ago.
French braids and his grass skirt on and shit.
Why
Like,
does
I
it sound
mean,
familiar?
and it's cool. Be proud of your Polynesian heritage. But I don't see oftentimes him. He almost like Vin Diesel to me. Like they choose to be ambiguous so it don't fuck up their roles and shit.
Ambiguous. I like that.
Uh, I
No, that's a
appreciate
good way to put it. Ambiguous blackness, right? That's a good way to put it. If you have
Call him
cable,
Vin Diesel.
right? What they call them, even tone, right? Um, if you have cable, watch it on demand, and it may come on again on Saturday. As far as the Black Panther, I thought they was making his sister. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the plot. Just because like how Rail always talk about the nerd in him, like I got a little,
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't
No, that's
always
dope.
thugging in the hood, right?
Yeah,
At
yeah.
one point, I was a regular kid, right? So, and comic books was my thing. So I was saying
That's dope as hell.
in this upcoming movie, they're saying the sister now, Letitia Wright, she's gonna assume the role. And I'm saying I don't want to see a female Black Panther. I mean,
Okay.
make her give her own suit and let her work. But he's a king. It should be about a brother. You gonna tell me you got the woman king and now we got a woman, the Black Panther. You see how these things go in together? You got a woman king, and then you got the Black Panther. Now a woman is the Black Panther, and she got the Dahani Kukube, whatever the fuck they is, that garter. That's all women. What the fuck is wrong with the men in Wakanda? Like, what's going on? Like, you should have. I'm. They doing
All the male heirs died. You know, the shit.
Wakanda was ran
Warmonger
by women
died.
anyway.
I just feel like this is
Hey, according to the movie, Wakanda was ran by women anyway.
the movie is bullshit because in the comic books it's ran by men. It's the king.
Well,
And
no, I'm just saying. That's why I said
it's
in the movie.
generations of kings, though.
I'm just saying we talking about the sequel of the movie. So what I'm
Right.
saying is, in the movie it was ran by women, but in the book it
Okay.
was different anyway. You know what I
It
mean?
wasn't ran by women in the movie because his father was the king first, and his brother. They come from a
Well,
long
who
line.
made all the decisions?
The king
This
did.
is,
Not
see,
the women.
all right.
His guard was women.
I disagree, but okay.
His guard was women. They didn't make decisions. They just guarded T'Challa. And I
His
know
mama, they used to go to his mother for the decisions. Like, you know what I mean?
mama. Yeah, he talked to his
Well, I
mama.
mean, even in African culture, a lot of cultures they had the council of women that you know they still. I mean, the dudes went before the council of women, and you know, I mean, he made decisions, but they had input. The council of women, you know, so I mean, that's
That's
how
how
it
our
was
culture
in
was.
some ancient
I don't think
African cultures.
I don't think men should follow women. I think you should
It's
support
cool.
your woman.
That's your opinion. I'm gonna let
I
you
think
have
you
that.
should support your woman. I think you should support your woman. And I think you should value her input. But I think a man should be in the lead. I don't think a woman should. I don't think any man should follow a woman. Like I don't
See,
believe.
I don't. I feel what you're saying.
I don't
Like,
feel
I mean,
like
if
nobody.
we
In my perspective, I don't feel like me or the woman is following nothing. Like I feel like we both making decisions to make this shit happen. And whoever is strong in
Right,
this
right.
area, that's who's gonna take the forefront in that area. And whoever's stronger in this area, that's who's gonna take the forefront in that area. We making conscious decisions, you know what I mean, on how to make it through this shit.
I still think the man should be at the lead. I think he should be looked at as the lead of the household. And once again, I do understand shared power because I have a very progressive wife who's very, very accomplished. And I don't, and I when I say lead, I don't mean like she do what I tell her to do. I don't
Right,
Right,
mean
right,
like
right.
dominate her.
right.
I
Well,
mean,
I mean, in
in
my
certain, in a lot
household,
of situations, my wife will say to me,
yeah.
"You are the man of the house," and so this is, and so I just don't think it should be vice versa. I don't think I should be waiting on her like, "Baby, what should we do? Tell me what to
Oh
do."
no, no, no,
Think
No,
the man
no,
should be
man,
the
no,
no. Come
no.
on,
That's
man.
like with my shit. I'll tell, hey baby, look, I'm thinking about doing this, this, and this. What do you think? I want
Right,
her insight and her counsel, but the
right,
the last say so is me. You know what I'm saying? But I am going to try to consider her shit within reason. You know what I'm saying? That's just how you keep peace.
You just
Like,
can't borrow my Black Panther costume. I just put
hey,
that shit
shit,
back
if
up.
she cut a few holes in them motherfuckers, she can wear it. We can do some things. Shit.
Uh, and once again, I don't want people see there are gender roles, and one of the biggest mistakes that we make right now is people are steadily trying to erase those roles. There's
It
gender.
get confusing.
God
Oh yeah.
makes gender for a reason. It's definitive. There's a big difference between a
No,
man
no,
and a how they're built. So I think we should, when we start saying
no, you absolutely
don't
right.
matter, I have a problem with that. So
No, 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 you absolutely right. But what I'm saying as a man, well, for me, I guess I can't speak for any other man. It kind of get confusing in this day and age because on the one side, everybody wants to be, equal across the board. They want to be this shit, but then you on the flip side, you'll see women like, I never proposed to a man. Like, granted, I don't want my lady proposing to me, but it seemed like it get confusing sometimes when they pick and choose where they want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I'm a lady, treat me as a lady. I want equality, I want same this, that, and the third, but I ain't taking the garbage out. That's a man's job.
I think it's
I ain't
very
this, that, and the third.
interesting. I think that's
Yeah,
what you just said was very interesting for this reason. When women say
yeah.
I would never propose to a man, well, let me tell you something. A woman who wants to get married lets your ass know very early and very often that she wants to get married. In essence, she's telling you in a lot of cases, look, all right, we've been together for so long now. I need for you to do your thing. And then the man comes back and says, "Will you marry me?" But she already told you she didn't even ask you. She told you you need to put a ring on my finger and stop this bullshit. So when women say, that's what I'm saying. When women say,
But it get confusing because they pick and choose where they want to be treated like a lady, and then where you know what I'm saying?
yeah, because I think if you
right.
are under the old mentality of a woman is less than you, when I say a man should be the lead of the household, I don't mean that the woman is less than him, and
Right,
I
right. She
don't
never
mean
been
that
less.
he should be walking around kicking people in their ass, talking about I'm the lead, I'm the boss. I just think as a man, there are certain things that men should do, and being leaders and being at the forefront, being
Yeah.
responsible and willing to make sacrifices and definitive decisions. I think that's something a man has by his birthright. He should have it by his birthright. Um, when you see an emasculated man, when I see somebody like Terry Crews, or I see I see a lot of brothers walk around with their
He
head
big
down.
as hell too.
Right. Well, it's when you want to be a neo husband, you want this is the new times. We're gonna do it like because that's all colonialism. That's all colonialism. So when you start seeing movies where it's women kings and women panthers, and it's all of a sudden you're pushing the black man further and further in the back seat, and I got a problem with that. So, let me see what we got. Ian C. Jordan said my 16-year-old daughter is agreeing with Kev completely. Wow, smart young lady. Once again,
Right, right.
I'm not. And I would tell my daughter this because first of all, can't nobody dominate you, baby girl, because I ain't gonna let that happen. If somebody's doing a little bit too much, but when you choose a man and you say this is gonna be my husband, I think you have to have some respect for that man and say, I think you should be the head of the household. You should be the lead, right? There should be some things that you, as the man of the house, should be in position for. Now, once again, that's not to say you don't have nothing to say. It's not to say you don't have no input, because most men
Right.
remote controlly are controlled by their woman anyways. Because you know damn well your wife, what she say she wants, most of the time your ass is gonna try to get it done. Why you paint this room this color? That's what color she said she wanted. Okay, boss, head of the household, right? And you bought the paint, went down there and painted the damn room, paint all in your hair and your beard. I'm the head of this household. Women can do that. They should, but there's situations where they should say, you know what, this is my man. You know, this is I'm gonna have to respect him as head of the household. I just believe it's a thing that we need to get back into as black people, as foundational black Americans, because we had to felt the strongest family structure of everybody. That's what held us together through all this
Hey,
bullshit.
I think good black women don't really have a problem with that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
But a lot of the time, the problem be like the men who be expecting it. You know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot of men who ain't got no vision in life. Men who don't want shit. They just want to sit around and play the video game. How the
Right.
fuck you gonna tell her to let you leave? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know,
She
leader
paying the
in
bills.
Grand Theft Auto. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Oh,
She,
But you get what I'm saying? Like it's got to be good people, man. You know what I mean? And then in that sense, you won't even have to talk about who taking the lead or who this or who that.
right.
You know what I
If
mean?
she can
Because
trust you to
most people
lead,
are respected in their space,
it's not something that's spoken though. It's not like I
right?
got a
And that's
title
what
on
I'm
my
saying. You know what I
chest,
mean?
but it should
That's
be a
what I'm saying.
natural thing. But you said now, you said that a lot of men, you know, expect that, but I think there's a lot of women who haven't grown up with men who've been in that role. So when
Right?
they get a man like
right,
that,
right.
they act a goddamn fool, and
Yeah.
they want to make it
Yeah.
into, well, you can't tell me
Or
what to
they don't
do.
know how to let him be a man.
And it ain't even
Right,
about that, right? Because
right.
and I'm speaking in terms of sensible men. So I already know that there's extreme exceptions to the rule. Like I know some dudes you can't tell him he the lead, or he be slapping the shit out of everybody, you know, tearing up shit every other day. But I think most real men can tell if your woman has respect for you. She has to
Right.
have a certain level of, and vice versa. You got to respect her too. But I
Right.
think there's a level of respect that the man of the house should get, right? And it's not like the woman
Yeah.
is, once again, it's not like she's any less than him. I just feel like he needs to be allowed to be a man. And when you get
Right.
women who are so boisterous that they want to tell him how to be a man, well, you shouldn't. And then you get in your head like, okay, oh, what you say? Okay, I'm gonna do that. Your ball's getting smaller and smaller, and eventually you won't have any. And a woman will do that to you, and then she'll leave you after you become punchless and threatless. She'll be like, "You done lost your edge. I want somebody who challenged me a little bit more.
Right, right,
I'm not feeling this no more." Now your ass sitting somewhere talking about, "Oh, I thought she loved me. I did everything she said." That's the problem.
right.
You became a pushover. You became a pushover for her. I'm not saying,
No
you
punching
know, be
bag.
some asshole to her, but don't become totally like, okay, babe, whatever you say, girl,
And
whatever you gotta,
that's why it's
you
important
still
to find your balance though. Like you gotta
right.
like even in like the spiritual community, a lot of people feel like be good, 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 and like you gotta find your balance between your light and dark. The good
Mm-hmm.
say do no harm, but the dark says take no shit. Do no harm, take no shit. You gotta find that pocket in the middle. And I've
Right.
learned that usually when a woman can trust you to lead and be a man, she gladly get, hey, you know what, baby, I see you capable of handling this, handle this. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I've come across women who always, now the term is operating in their masculine. But even when I come around the most women that say they, well, I'm just masculine, you gotta understand that in the presence of a real ass nigga, in the presence of a real man, that the energy it compels them to soften up and be like, okay, I don't have to have my guard up.
Right.
He seems capable of leading and won't abuse that shit. The problem is a lot of niggas walk around like with them people that come, yeah, I'm a doctor. But then when the emergency happens and somebody says, is there a doctor in the house? That motherfucker trying to hide because he wants the title without the responsibility. And I think a lot of men, yeah, treat me as a man. All right, nigga, these bills need to be paid. Well, shit, what we gonna do? you know,
Well, no, you can
like,
help me pay the bills, and I can still be the man in the house. That ain't got nothing to do with no bills. Hey, look, if long as we live
but
together,
some of them don't even have an
yeah,
answer.
you got to pitch in on the
You know what I'm
party.
saying?
Oh
yeah, and that's fine too. But some of them don't even have an answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we gonna do about this bill? Like, sometimes shit happens and y'all got to figure out how y'all gonna. Like, I know, man, shit.
but
I wasn't always this comfortable in life. Yeah.
Why do we have to even make that? This shows how far back we are. Why do we even have to make that distinction? Why do we
The
as men have
bills,
to say no? Why do we have to say? But a lot of men. Why do we have to make that distinction?
because
There's a lot of women who are dysfunctional as well, but that goes to show you
most definitely,
that we are a
most definitely.
society of whipped
Well,
men
I
because
think
we
I
are
think because we are men, I think because we're men, we have to identify this shit in each other. We got to fix each other. We got to fix ourselves.
Right.
But man,
Like I
I
can't
don't
I'ma
just
say,
be, I can't just, you know what I mean? I feel like I'll just be criticizing if I'm talking about them. Well, I feel like even if I'm talking to somebody and I'm talking to them, I like to put myself in that perspective when I'm speaking. Like I say, well, I will feel like you know what I mean? So like, and when we talk about men and women, I talk in the terms of men. Us men, we need to get like this. We need to get right. We got to fix ourselves too. Should we not worry about ourselves and just worry about them?
I don't feel like I gotta stop and say a lot of men do this a lot because when I start talking about manhood and I'm talking about men, I'm talking about real men. So I ain't gotta talk about the dudes who ain't real men. I ain't gotta speak on them. I know
but
they
the niggas that ain't real men, they still influence how women can receive real men because a hurt dog is a hurt dog. They don't give a fuck if you here to help or
don't
not.
have
It's
to
still
make
gonna
Them
snap at
niggas
you.
making us look bad.
But I don't have to make no, they don't make me look bad.
From the
They don't make me
perception.
look-
It ain't that
Like
they
I
make
say,
me
I'm
look
talking
bad.
about men. When I say us, I'm a man. I'm talking about us. You know what I'm
I
saying?
say
See, and I
this.
say they make us look bad because you know what I mean. Women get these perceptions. Like, okay, if we got a bunch of men that's out here cheating on women nowadays, he's saying all men cheat, but all men don't cheat.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? It's a perspective that gets put on all men by certain women. You know what I mean?
I don't
I
have
just
to
feel
say
like
I don't have to make that distinction. I don't have to say I know it's some men who don't. I ain't talking to them or about them. That's me though. Once
I bring
again,
them up.
that's
And
me
I
though.
bring them up because in my interaction with women, I know most of my woes come from the next nigga not doing his job. Like because I'm a man,
and not her
for some,
father.
but that's what I was about to
Her
say.
father who
But
not another
that's the next
boyfriend. It's
nigga.
her, sometimes it's her mother.
These
that's
days, when a man meet a woman, you got to put up with all the bullshit of the men who she done met.
And you absolutely right, because most of the
You
woes
got
I
to put
come
up with that
across
shit. Karen, you've been married for a bunch of years. You
is
ain't been
from
out
their
here in the
father
booth.
fucking up.
Like, I'm gonna tell you, man, that shit rough. It's way different than it was back then.
It is, man. And sometimes I find myself having to take off my partner hat and put on my daddy hat and teach a motherfucker something her daddy should have taught her had he been around. You know, so that's why I bring up other niggas, because whether it was a previous relationship or the father sets the tone because he's a woman's first relationship. So if he wasn't shit, any man she come across is already fighting the uphill battle.
I don't know about that because I think well-adjusted people adjust, and you're not coming into the. I don't deal with my wife based on what happened before me, and she don't deal with me based on her experience with whatever man she dealt. We deal with each other on how we treat each other, and so normal, well-adjusted people don't hold on to shit that long. If you got somebody who's that scarred and that jaded,
about normal people.
if you got somebody who's jaded and if they holding on to that, they are jaded and scarred. So there's an issue there. That's a person who's not well adjusted. That if I was in a bad relationship and I'm treating everybody else like shit after that because it was bad, something's wrong with me.
No shit.
I don't think a lot of them go through life saying, hey, because this nigga treated me this way. A lot of people develop character traits and personalities as a defense or coping mechanism. So a lot of times they don't even know where the trauma comes from, but you still got to deal with it. I remember a chick I used to be with. She was quick to swing off, and it got to a point where I got tired of her swinging off on me. So I started blocking. Like if she punched, I blocked with my elbow, let her hurt her hand. But when I finally said, "Dude, I'm about to leave you the fuck alone. What's wrong with you?" She like, "I'm sorry. I watched my brothers beat they women, and I was always determined to get the first look because ain't no nigga gonna do me like my brothers did they women." It's like, God damn.
that person never
But
makes it. They never make it to the second stage.
Well, that's what we saying. That's what we
That's
but
saying.
when
That's what we
you have
saying. When
that
the man
talk,
meets a woman, a lot of the time these days, you got to deal with a whole bunch of traumas that she dealt
but
with,
they
and
don't
she
even be
bringing that
knowing what
shit
trauma
to
they
them.
But hey,
right,
because
and
her
sometimes they
boyfriend. That's
be
because he said her
unaware.
brother.
Well, her
What
brother did the shit to her.
these are
That's
still
not.
niggas in their life though. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't agree.
Well, you don't have to,
oh, I
Cal.
feel you. I feel
Yeah,
you.
and you made the point. You made a point about me being married for a very long time, and because my wife is solid, and
It's
That's
she
nothing
is who
you
beautiful.
she
don't have to
is.
Congrats.
deal with.
She is who she is, and so she's very solid. So that's why
That's
we've
a
been married
blessing.
a long time. But one thing about this is I can be a man. There's never a
Yeah,
situation
yeah.
where I'm not being treated like a man because it's not something I'm gonna deal with. And it doesn't mean kissing my ass or letting me tell you what to do.
Right.
It's a natural level of respect. And I think a lot of times men think in order to make women feel good, I got to compromise so much or say what they want to hear. Sometimes you'll get further with a woman by saying the shit she don't want to hear, but just being willing to say it. As we get soft and
Mm-hmm.
squishy. That's why I don't like boys to men and all that shit. All that shit is detrimental. I just all that soft shit, all that squishy shit. You gotta have some savage in you, man. You gotta hold on to your balls,
You
man.
gotta catch a couple bodies and fuck a couple bitches
Well,
like
I
the
ain't gonna
other
say that.
music.
Because I don't endorse any of that. I'm not going to. You trying to end my marriage, right?
You
Like
gotta find that
you,
balance between boys to men
you just
and
got to be
drill
a
music.
man. A man needs to be allowed to be a man, and that's all I'm saying. And
Yeah.
if a lot of brothers think the way that I can be a better man is to compromise more and be softer, and see, as a man, you
Well,
have no feminine sensibilities. I don't have no female sensibilities because I'm not a woman. That's why I don't tell women what to do or what to they would do with their bodies or nothing because I ain't no
yeah,
woman. I don't have no understanding of that.
yeah.
So I don't think a woman should be able to tell you what a man should do because she has no understanding of it. And as a man, you should be able to
And
tell
you
her you don't
know,
know what you're talking
And
about.
that right there is why I don't. That's why I said I don't criticize women. I don't talk about women.
right.
I put us in that perspective. That right there is why.
No, I criticize their ass. I just won't tell them what to do.
It's so many people saying what a man should be and how the traits they should exemplify that never even been in the presence of a real man. They might have been in
Right.
the presence of a male. Like
Right.
like I tell people, Disney done fucked up a lot of women. A lot of women.
So is Oprah.
That yeah, that's that expectation shit. Oh, just because you got
That white feminine shit got black women out here.
right, like, just because
Yeah.
you got an ass, I need to cower before you and listen to you.
Right.
Nah, shit.
It's that everything is what they call it
Gotta find that
chauvinism.
balance.
Everything
You
is
gotta find that
chauvinism.
balance.
Those are the same as
Misogyny.
people who
That's
say
the word. They
right,
holler misogyny.
misogyny.
Misogyny. Every time.
That's like a black person who hollered that everything is racist to me.
Racism. Right.
Like,
This
come
is
on, man.
misogyny.
That's your ass. That ain't got nothing to do with
Misogyny.
it. Right.
Right.
So I'm just looking. I just want to live in a world where men, like I keep saying, where's your space as a man? If everything I do, you're gonna come over here and do it. And vice versa for men. I don't think a man should do everything a woman does. I think there's some things that women do, and they should
These
be
niggas
allowed
so
to do.
doing it, boy.
So
Wearing skinny tight ass jeans, leggings,
and they
purses
shouldn't.
and shit. And
They shouldn't, right?
God damn.
Lead a yeast infection to the women. I'm just saying. I believe. I just believe nowadays the world, like he said, people always talking about what a man is and what he should do, but it's always people who are not men, in particular black men. And
or ever experienced a man.
we used to always start the show off by saying the thing about being a black man is everybody talk about you, but don't nobody talk to you. You know what I'm saying? And so even when you say, what's a real man? Because people listen to the show, what's a real man? I could look, my father was a real man. He was, and that just means he was a dude who had real strong sensibilities and focus on his family, and he was willing to do whatever it took for us to be safe and sound. And he made sound decisions for us. That's not to say he didn't make any mistakes, and that's not to say my mother was weak. My mother beat your ass. So and she wasn't no fuck. But the fact that she gave him respect as a man. She got mad at him a lot and she would do whatever, but she never ever treated him. She knew like that's a man right there. And at the end of the day, if I really do the wrong thing, he fucked me up, but I know he ain't gonna do that because I see my mother run up on my pops. Yeah, and I'm looking at her like, dude, dude will throw you through the wind. Like you have no chance. And he just be like, look, go on, man, because I don't want to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's a real man. Instead of saying, bitch, sit down somewhere. What the fuck you think you talking to? Like, to me, as a people say, that's a man's man. No, it ain't. That's he just slapped the shit out of a
Mister.
woman. Right. So I'm saying there's a definitive way to be a man. And in particular, black masculinity is under assault in our country. And I don't appreciate female Black Panthers. And I don't appreciate all this white feminism trying to mix up with our blackness, our foundational black Americanness. I'm not appreciating it, and I ain't going. I'm not a woman. I don't want to be. I don't pretend to be. I'm very happy to be a man. I've had a great time as a man, and I want my space to be protected as a man, and I want my respect to be there. And if you water down and you boys to men in and all this bullshit, I'm gonna criticize your ass. I'm gonna call you a mog. I'm gonna call you a mog. It's getting late. I'm talking random shit. We gonna get out of here, man. I think we done pissed enough people off tonight by saying y'all was slaves. I said something about women, so people gonna hang. I know these motherfuckers. I hate these niggas. What time they coming on next week? Kamar, what you got popping this weekend, man?
I'll be at the Fondy Market Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah,
What time
I'll be at
you
the
gonna be
Fondy
there?
Market Saturday, and then I'm gonna be two places Saturday. I'm gonna have the kids up at Trickle B Cafe at the vegan restaurant vending,
Okay.
doing the thing they do on their last market of the summer. I'm gonna set the table up for them, and I'm gonna be down at the Fondy Market. When I finish at the Fondy Market, you catch me at Trickle B with the kids
Where's
All
Trickle
right.
B at?
on 46th, 45th, and North Avenue, right on the corner. It's a pay what you have type of vegan restaurant.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like you pay what you got.
Okay. That's what's
If
up.
all you got is $5, all you got is $5.
Wow. What a concept. Damn. That's what's up. Red, what you got popping? What you got popping? What you moving? You just take
uh,
the weekend off? You still, pruning trees? What you got?
oh no, man, they shut down for the season. Just getting my TikTok up. I'm like 50 people away from 1,000. Once you get 1,000 people, you can go live and shit like that. Just running up my followers so I can begin to advertise my book, 12 Steps to Becoming Your Own Dope, available on Amazon, where I discuss ways that I learned how to harness my anger and do it, change it into something productive.
Mm.
And of course, I'm still doing the TikToks. I tried to take a break today because of my voice, but I seen a status that kind of made me want to comment about multiple streams of income and how people always feel shit is futile. And it's like, it ain't futile. Stop looking at the big picture and look at, like that African proverb say, how you eat an elephant? Shit, one bite at a time. Sometimes you got to bust shit down into the smallest steps. And we can get free, we can get rich, we can get our mind right. Just be willing to start and appreciate the small progress.
That's what's up, man. Support these brothers. They both do big things in the community. Shout out to Courtney Francois. See, she got her juices in the honeybee sage.
Yeah, I seen that. That was dope.
Shout out to Angela Mallet. What's up, cuz? Man, that's all good,
Yeah,
man.
we
I love
taking
it.
over that refrigerator. Outlaw Radio taking over the refrigerator at Honeybee Sage.
Man, I love it when a plan comes together. I love to see people up. It's a good thing, man. And once again, it's intentional solidarity, man. We are choosing solidarity. We're choosing
Right.
unity. We're choosing to work with each other. Those are choices, right? Those are the choices that we're making. Shout out to Crystal Ship. I guess the whole point of this is several different ways to skin a cat, right? Like, and everybody has the right to how they feel. I think if you get to my age, you deserve the right to say what you feel and be able to express yourself. I think you need to, if you're going to do that, you need to be able to articulate yourself. So a lot of times when we are articulating our points of view, what we forget is that somebody else is waiting to articulate theirs too. And sometimes that the rhythm of that conversation is thrown off. Communication has a rhythm because there's the sender, then there's the receiver. Then the receiver becomes the sender, and the sender becomes the receiver. And it keeps going like that until the information is exchanged. And at the end of the day, there's either enlightenment, agreement, or there's disassociation, right? It's going to end one way or another. Either you ride with me or you collide with me. But I think a lot of times we get caught up in our own thoughts so much that we fail to see things from different perspectives. So it's important that we put conversations out here that might make you say, what the fuck? Or what? I can't believe, because you see it all the time. People in the chat room, I agree with so and so and so. I hear what so and so says, but I understand this. That's effective communication when people are being heard and you get a chance to think about what it is that's being said, as opposed to all of us just on here yelling at each other, calling each other names and shit, and sharing memes about each other. So that's the point
Right.
of Outlaw Radio, and I hope people understand that. And I don't want to see you cats out there trying to copy our format, as I know y'all be. I know you be jotting, like Martin says. I know you be jotting, right? You stop through here and you see what's popping, and the next day I hear your show, and oh, lo and behold. But shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, man. If you watched the show, shout out to Crystal Ship. She came a little late. If you missed the show, you came late, you can always go back and listen. Blacklash, shout out to NC Jordan, Tiarsha Arthur, Ewalk, man. All of y'all, I appreciate y'all support. I'm cool. I'm kicking back on the weekend. I enjoy the shit out of my weekends, especially since it's football season. I get to watch the Packers. I get to watch college. I get to watch my son. And so I just love
That's
being off.
dope.
Like those are the days I choose to run away from the plantation. I'm continuing this choice to
Hey.
choose thing forever, right? It's never gonna stop. But yeah, man, I'm gonna enjoy the weekend. I'm looking forward to some days to come in which we can get mobile and get out in the community and shake a few hands and kiss a few babies. No pun intended. Like, right, no homo or nothing. Pause, pause, pause. But I'm looking forward to interacting with my people, y'all. So I appreciate it. You just got to know, man, that your perspective is very important, even if it ain't important to nobody but yourself. Because if you don't believe it's important to yourself, then that means you don't think shit about yourself, right? And so you got to value your own opinion, and you got to say, I have the right to say what I'm gonna say, and think how I want to think, but always be open to enlightenment, man. Because ain't nobody gonna do for us like us, right? And we got to know that, man. It ain't happening unless we all do it together. So if we gonna argue, we argue in the house. But when we go outside, anybody step to any of us, we kicking their ass, right? So that's how we got to be. You either with us or you against us, man. Part of the problem, part of the solution. And if that criticism coming out your big ass mouth outweighs your contribution to my raggedy ass community, your punk ass is a coon, right? And I couldn't say it no better if I tried. Peace and love, man. Outlaw Radio, man. Information gang, word mob for life, baby.
Peace.
All right.